Zombies have now infected ARK. SCPs are appearing out of nowhere. We have 100 days to cage these disturbing SCPs whilst we try and avoid the zombie plague. Thankfully, I have discovered a science that I can now create my own hybrid creatures. There are multiple bosses that we need to defeat and multiple challenges that we need to overcome. Can we do this in 100 days? Let's find out. Welcome to my 100 days in this SCP zombie apocalypse. Welcome homies and homies to another ARK modded adventure. We are playing on the modded map, Hope. Now you might be wondering, how did we get all the way up here? Well, that's a unique thing about starting on this map. You can start by parachuting. It takes us a little while to fall down, so we speed things up a little. Oh, what a long draw. This is so boring, bro. I'm gonna have to do it. We're just doing it. It's so dumb. What is that? The glowing pinkness. Once we made it safely into the water, I swam straight to shore. I think that's a zombie straight ahead. That was indeed a zombie straight ahead. Oh, he's a walker. Who cares about the zombies? It's freaking flying ants that are the danger. Oh, fuck! Pineapples. You scared the hell out of me. Jump scared by one of my subscribers straight away. This is going to be a very interesting 100 days. Even with the ominous presence of zombies nearby, I needed to collect some resources so that I can make my starting tools. Make some tools, make some tools, make some tools. What am I missing? Wood. Oh my god. With a stone pickaxe in hand, I went to see if I could do some damage to this zombie. Wait, are they just super weak? How did I just 640 his ass? Then out of nowhere, pineapples kites a big zombie. Okay, pineapples. I'll help you. Okay, I'm not helping. I'm not helping. I'm not helping. Oh my god. Thanks to pineapple's sacrifice, I managed to get away safely. Wait, what happened to me? I got zombie plague? I do indeed now have the zombie plague. This is what you get when you try to go hand to hand with some zombies. Ah! Ah! No! When I respawn, I realized that this is going to be quite the horror show. Oh, mother. I'm very scared of zombies. Just never expected one of my subscribers to do this to me. Anyways, like I always do in all of my playthroughs, any one of my subscribers that are playing on the server with me at the time, I will add them to the alliance. This alliance we once again named Dodo Legion. It was a little hard to put together, but I needed Pineapple to look after me while I tried to do this. But we managed to add him to the alliance. After making some tools, I made a reusable spear that we used to fend off some of these zombies. You see, zombies only spawn around the player. They don't spawn on the map. And they only spawn if you make a ton of noise and you make a lot of movement. And with 2 players around here throwing spears a lot of zombies spawn. I'm trying to kill off this dino so that I can get myself some hide, but then we were met by these other type of zombie creatures. Oh no. Oh no! Look at... What am I supposed to... I felt whilst we're trying to start off and figure this entire playthrough out, I needed to stay by someone else. That's why I stuck by pineapples this entire time. I quickly learned that certain zombies are a little tougher than the average zombie. This particular zombie is a SWAT zombie, and it has armor. And yes, because it's wearing a helmet, I can't headshot it and do massive damage. But I was stuck here trying to kill it for so long that the shredder got me instead. There's so many scary, ghoulish creatures in this mod that I feel like I'm forever running away and dying. There's also dinos that want me dead as well. I had to go AFK for a little bit, and I was live streaming at this point. I knew I was gonna die, and it is what it is. But one of my viewers timed this alert perfectly. Emotional damage. It's now nighttime, and then we heard this noise. What the fuck was that? I'm hiding behind you. Holy crap! That horrifying noise signifies a whole bunch of zombies spawning in on us. Pineapples was nearby, so me and him started fending off this horde of zombies. We managed to defeat all the zombies. Oh no! But there's still dinos lurking around this place. Yes. Oh, my bad. Sorry, I'm just watching my favorite anime, Solo Leveling, on Netflix. Fun fact, I live here in Australia and Solo Leveling isn't available on our Netflix. But thanks to today's sponsor, ExpressVPN, I can now switch my IP address from Australia to Singapore, and now I can watch my favorite anime. One thing I love about ExpressVPN is how easy it is to use. Once downloaded, just sign into your account, find whichever region you want to switch to, change your IP address, and boom, you're done. As everyone here in our community are all gamers, one thing that we are all at risk of is our personal location being doxed, or even worse, our gameplay being DDoSed. Now, ExpressVPN is the perfect solution to this issue. With a quick click of the button, you can change your IP address, carry on with your day, knowing that all of your privacy is now safe and secure. Now, if all of this info didn't prove to you that ExpressVPN is an essential tool to your day-to-day use on the internet, I've been given the chance to give you guys, all of my viewers, something special to sweeten the deal. 4 months for free. So if you want to find out exactly how you can get 4 months free to ExpressVPN, just scan the QR code that's been on the screen this entire time, or go to the link in my description and click on that bad boy, or you can also go to expressvpn.com/AronAztek. Honestly, what do you got to lose? Watch your favorite shows, keep your privacy secure. You're crazy if you don't do it. Thank you, ExpressVPN, for sponsoring this video. Day 2, we encountered our first SCP, but once again, we were chased down by these cruel creatures. Next, I discovered that there's certain trikes that are quite aggressive. As I was harvesting this rock, I heard a weird noise. Can you guys hear that? Is that a plane? Wait, there's a plane. What the hell? Wait, there's a supply drop? What is this? This mod is full of a ton of surprises. Wait, what is this? It's a key card. I don't have a key card. Can I break it? We can break it. Whoa! With zombies, crazy creatures, and even dinos absolutely trying to murder us, I'm having a tough time trying to get a good start in this playthrough. I'm not even sure if it's even safe to set up a starter base. But then someone in my chat had a really smart idea. Maybe I should make a raft. That's a good way to stay safe from all these zombies. Wood. So I ran around to quickly try and gather enough resources to craft a raft, managed to craft it, and make it onto the ocean so I'm nice and safe. Well, I'm not completely safe. There's still dangers in the ocean, of course. But this way, no zombies will spawn on us, I think. Of course, we still need to be cautious of the things in the water. What is that? Is that an aquatic SCP? I didn't even know that that was a thing, bro. I plan to make this boat our starter base. I'll make a bigger base eventually, but we need something to start with at least. And since zombies spawn on you, the player, and not in the world, it's smart to continuously move around. Our base is kind of scuffed right now, but it's gonna have to do. Day 3 and myself in this boat were attacked by some raptors. I wanted to try take these guys out so that I could get myself some easy hide. I obviously felt quite safe on top of my boat, but they were a little bit difficult to hit sometimes. I'm missing point blank shots. Every time I'd stop at shore, I had to be quite quick. I was here to collect a bunch of resources, but every time that I waited around here for too long, zombies would spawn in. I managed to get just enough resources that I could make a forge. Then we could start smelting up a little bit of metal that we had gathered from the river rocks. I then went to go find some metal nodes that I can go and harvest. Once again, trying to avoid the dangers on this little island. Yeah, and what? Don't come near me, I'm in the water, son. Bro, he's coming? Bro, I swear, if he finds a way up here, horrifying. With our metal smelting, I then went to go take out some easy dinosaurs so I can collect some hide and just collect whatever resources I could find. What's that noise? Ah, more riddens. Bro, they're freaking everywhere. For context, those big lanky zombie looking things, they're called riddens. I escaped to the safety of my boat, but somehow one of these riddens got stuck, broke my foundations, and then climbed on top of the boat. I don't really know what to do in this situation. I tried using my Fortnite skills to get out of this situation, but it didn't work. Respawned, I just tried to kite him off of my ship. That's all I needed. I'm over here. Just come to me, man. Once he wouldn't leave the ship, I tried to shake him off. This also did not work. All I knew is that I'm gonna have to sacrifice myself to try and kite him away. Once I respawned, I heard him hitting my stuff once again, but he wasn't on top of the boat. Unfortunately, he did destroy a lot of stuff. I just took my opportunity to try and escape, even though he took out my forge. Once I was somewhat safe, I used this opportunity to place down some more of these stone foundations, and I managed to make a smithy, then some metal tools. With the new metal tools acquired, I went to go harvest some resources, particularly stone, so we can actually finish this boat base. I saw some red numbers in the distance, so I had to go investigate. Pineapples was trying to murder this stego. Of course, I went to go and assist. The zombies were kind of making this a little difficult. We had to make sure that we kept moving because they kept coming after us, and we had to try and avoid this stego as well. The zombies are not fast, so we were able to avoid them and take down this stego. Yeah, did it. Day 3, I pick on the weak and helpless so I can use their skin for my own benefits. I then try and head back to my boat and realize it's really far down this cliff. And instead of walking all the way down there, I decided to jump. It's okay though, I had a parachute. We landed safely. Well, somewhat safely. We had gathered enough stone that I can now make some more additions to our base. I couldn't quite completely enclose it just yet. Once again, we were running quite low on stone and wood. A little while later, we were able to enclose the perimeter of this, so at least no zombies can get in. I'm gonna have to eventually start working on the roof of this place, but for now, we're gonna move locations because zombies keep spawning where we are. That's one thing that I've learned in this playthrough is that we need to just keep moving around the map so the zombies don't keep spawning on us, especially in this early game while we're trying to get a start. I was able to finish off the roof of this base. Well, kind of. There's obviously this little hole there, but I'm pretty sure nothing crazy can get in. And since we built a bunch of pieces for our base, we'd leveled up quite a bit. So I went through our engram list because we're kind of safe where we are and unlocked a whole bunch of things. Like there's a whole bunch of dinos that we can craft with the hybrids mod as well. Some stuff looks pretty interesting. Day 5, we set sail along the swampy bank heading towards the desert island. But along our way, we ran into some trouble. No. No, 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 no. Go away. No, you can't come in this shallow, dude. We only barely escaped with our lives and our base. I'm gonna have to stick quite close to the coastline in this case. I now went on the hunt for some other resources, maybe some more metal nodes and some crystal. And that's when I saw a creepy creature in the distance. I knew I needed to avoid this. I didn't manage to find what we needed, so we just continued on our journey. I did go ahead and make a mortar and pestle and this Tranks mortar and pestle. I've added a Tranks mod in this because some of the SCPs are hard to knock out, so we need to deal more torpor damage than normal. I then spotted some crystal just under this cliff face right here. Oh, crystal right there. Brilliant Tente. With this crystal gathered, we could make some soul traps that we could then use to go and tame some creatures and keep them safe. With all the zombies and crazy SCPs in this playthrough, I think we're going to stay in our boat for quite a little while, and we're going to run out of space rather quickly if we have a bunch of dinos. In saying that, it's time to go and try and find some dinos to go and tame. Up high on this little ledge here, I knew that there was going to be some dinos we could have a look at. There was a few parasols that could be good for some berry gathering and some dodos that were running around. Of course, the zombies kept appearing near us, but this particular zombie dropped some food, and we were feeling a little peckish, so we ate it. I had a few tranks, but I figured a club might help us knock some creatures out, especially some of the starter creatures that we're going to tame. Like dodos. We need their eggs for stuff, I think. Well, we might. I don't know yet. Either way, it's an easy tame. Well, kind of. These zombies are definitely making things a lot harder than they should be. We also discovered that there's a different type of zombie. Certain ones that blow up. Whoa, what the frick? Anyways, back to bonking this dodo on the head. Go to sleep, bro. It's quite a tough dodo, surprisingly. But is it tough enough to withstand a trank arrow? No. With it knocked out, I ran over to it to try and feed it some berries whilst trying to avoid all these zombies. Trying to take down a bunch of these zombies, our dodo had tamed up. I then wanted to tame this Phiomia. Now, most people know that Phiomias can create a large amount of poop, and I'm going to need a whole bunch of poop because I plan on making some Plant X turrets on top of my boat to help me defend against some of these zombies and SCPs. Then finally, we found this level 85 parasol. I bowled it, shot it in the head with a trank arrow, and then started bonking it in the head with my club. I was kind of nervous this wasn't going to work. The zombie took up too much of our time whilst we were trying to put it to sleep. It ended up running away and our club broke. We do have our Phiomia and a dodo, so it's time to parachute back to base where I could make an awesome spyglass. This will make spotting the perfect tame a lot easier. Since I was streaming on Twitch at the time, one of my viewers requested that I name this dodo after him. This is now called Dark Wolf. Day 6, and just like Halloween, we have little pests knocking at our door. But unlike Halloween, I murdered them. I then made some access to the roof of this base by making some ladders on the side of it, so that we could eventually place the plant species X seeds in it and make some turrets. Funnily, on this map, it's quite easy to get plant X seeds. The plant X bushes are everywhere. It also rains quite a bit, so we don't have to worry too much about water. Our Phiomia has pooped a little bit, so we can use that as fertilizer for now, until we can get ourselves a dung beetle and make proper fertilizer. We've been able to gather a bunch of metal, but it's smelting rather slowly, so I created another forge to speed things up. With our Phiomia pooping so much, he gets quite hungry, so we have to make sure he's well fed. Looking through this engram list is a whole bunch of modded things that I can craft, and a whole bunch of hybrid creatures and stuff that I'm really interested in trying to create, but we're quite a ways away from being able to craft any of them right now. Like, we don't even have a safe enough base currently. I kind of like this area that we're at right now, and I want to make this my forever base. So to try and help us out and secure this place, I placed down some crop plots that will eventually put some plantex here, so we have turrets to ward off some of the zombies. Unfortunately for now, the only way to get rid of them is with this handy spear, unless you're fighting a juggernaut. They're really strong. Well, that is unless you have superior aim like myself and are able to kill them. A ton of zombies have started spawning in that area, so I just went on a little bit of a trip to try and kind of get rid of the zombies spawning. And if there was any drops around, I went to go see if we can get any decent loot from them. This particular one had some saddles in them. Nothing that I could probably use right now, but maybe I can break them down later. I then saw this large thing in the distance. What is that? That is horrifying. I was seriously curious, but also terrified at the same time. What's killing you? Somehow that thing is dying. So whatever is killing that is way worse than whatever that is. Oh, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Those type of creatures just filled the shoreline. I made sure to avoid all of that. Day 7 and the Plantex on our roof is fully matured. So hopefully they keep us safe and protected from some of the dangers in this playthrough. Having them did give me the confidence to land on this beach right next to the Spino. That was because I spotted this ovis. I knew if I could kill this ovis, I could gather its valuable meat, which is great for taming carnivores. Unfortunately, this carno wasn't going to allow us to get it. When we arrived at the place that I plan on building my base, we spotted this parasaur right there. I took this as a chance to tame it so that we could have a berry gatherer. Once it woke up, I quickly put a saddle on its back and got it out of the way of these zombies. Then of course immediately put it to work gathering some berries, particularly narco berries. We were out for a while trying to get berries, but we didn't actually gather that many. And our Plantex has already disappeared because it used up all of the fertilizer that was inside it. So I placed another poop in it and another seed. This probably isn't going to work. We really need to get the dung beetle so we can get proper fertilizer in there. Day 8, almost dead. I find myself on the side of this cliff face. There's lots of dangerous things down there in this redwoods, which includes an overgrown scorpion the size of a Bronto. I don't know why I was trying to fight this. I knew I had no chance at helping. That whole situation was hopeless, so it's time to head back to base. And yes, we lost another Plantex. They use a lot of fertilizer when they shoot. Well, we don't have proper fertilizer. It's just poop, so technically it's not a lot. Maybe getting into the skies will help us out. So with that, we try and find a Pteranodon to tame. I don't really care on the level just now, because as soon as we get one, it makes it a little bit easier to get another one. This level 50 will do for now. Problem is, the place that we knocked it out had a lot of dangerous things like these zombies and even snakes. Oh, and raptors as well. Yeah. This one killed me and the Pteranodon. So we search along the beach to try and find another one that we can possibly tame. Suddenly, one appeared. This level 55. And it was close enough to our base that it was kind of in a safe-ish area. I hope. I had some prime meat on me, so I fed it that. And whilst we waited for it to tame, I went to take out this turtle. Because hopefully this turtle will give us enough keratin that we can make a saddle for the Pteranodon. It gave us nothing, just hide and meat. So for now, I'm just going to have to make a soul ball and put this Pteranodon away until we can make a saddle for it. Back at our planned base location, we made a saddle for the Pteranodon and we could now hit the skies, but only for a short while. This Pteranodon was definitely not a marathon runner. Its stamina would run out rather quickly, but as long as we kept an eye on that, we would be okay. We're now in the swamp area and I'm trying to locate some cementing paste. I needed a beaver dam that wasn't close to too many beavers and close to somewhere that I could actually land. This way I could park right next to it, run over to it, take everything out of it and jump straight on my Pteranodon and escape before the beavers can come and eat me. Day 9, I flew over to this central island location. I parked the Pteranodon on the edge of this kind of mountain hill thing. This way it should stay safe while I dive into the water so I can collect some oil and some silica pearls. I use this reusable grapple hook to maneuver around the water much easier and get back to my Pteranodon. I flew to the top of this mountain and found Mr. Pineapple's little base. Is it kind of weird that I'm staring at him while he sleeps? Maybe. Back at our boat base, I cleared out a bunch of zombies and then started laying down some foundations of our forever home. I ran out of resources rather quickly and could only lay down this much. I've realized I'm going to have to protect my base, so these spikes should help us. The only thing is, I didn't have enough resources to make that many, so this is going to have to do for now. With the oil that we gathered earlier, I had made a fabricator, which I'll use to make some electronics and polymer so that I can make some other things to help defend our base. Day 10, we're back in the swamp trying to get some more cementing paste. Even this early on in the game, we're going to need quite a bit of it. I need this cementing paste so I can craft up some polymer. What exactly do I need the polymer for? I kind of forget, but I'm sure I'll figure it out soon. I then went and had a look through this trank mortar and pestle. There was a few of these trank darts that I could craft, which means I need a long neck so I can shoot them. Obviously, these tranks are kind of expensive to make, but they deal a ton of torpor and will make taming things so much easier. Like this level 90 Therizino that's just down the ways from my base. It only took one shot to put it to sleep. These tranks are great. Of course, just as I knock out this Therizino and feed it, I get chased down the beach by this Juggernaut. I don't give up until it's dead though. Nope, that's just not me. And this Therizino is taking its sweet ass time to tame. So while we wait, we prepare this soul terminal to start producing some poop. And with that poop, we're gonna go and hunt down a dung beetle. I figured we might find one in the desert. That's usually where they are, right? Searched around for quite a while, and then we finally found one. We fed it a big juicy piece of poop, and it was now our best friend. I noticed that our Theris torpor was draining rather quickly. So I went to go pick a bunch of bushes by hand to try and get some narco berries to feed it to keep it asleep. But when I didn't manage to get many berries, I went back to base so I could pick up some actual narcotics. And my parasol to pick some narco berries that way. Narco berries. Not getting any narco berries. I'm trying to get narco berries so we can keep this freaking Theri knocked out. This was quite stressful, but with the narcotics and the narco berries that we had gathered, we fed it to this Therizino to try and keep it asleep. Hopefully this works. Day 11 and our Therizino is fully tamed up, so I placed a saddle on its back and started destroying all the zombies that were around us. This Therizino is definitely going to change our game for the better. Not only is this Therizino a very dangerous killer, it's also a great utility dino that gathers berries, fiber, and even wooden thatch. Things have been progressing rather slowly in this 100 days. But now with this Therizino, I'm starting to be quite hopeful in our future. Next, I head out on an adventure to try and find another creature that will significantly help us in this 100 days. And that, my friends, is a wyvern. I fly quite low here, trying to avoid the aggro of any one of the wyverns that were flying around. As we scout through these wyvern nests, we discover some of these wyvern eggs kind of suck. Level 15 sucks. Come on, what are you better? Please be better. Another level 15. There's an S. Come on, please be decent. Please be decent. Fire wyvern 50. Not great. It's only a level 50, but it is a fire wyvern egg, and it's the best one that we've seen so far. With this kind of wyvern, it still might help us progress. Well, that's assuming we can escape Wyvern Island. I try using the cover of these swamp trees to get through. Hopefully the wyverns get stuck in these trees and they can't catch us. But it looks like we made our grand escape. Now we just have to trek it all the way back to our base, which is actually quite far away. Along the way though, we find this supply drop, which gave us a full set of this hide armor. Bit of leather gear on. Looking snazzy. With the wyvern egg incubating safely in the soul terminal, now it's time to focus on working on our base, which is going to require a ton of resources and a little bit of luck while we try and get rid of some of these zombies. God damn it. Yeah, the bloater zombies destroy this metal structure as well. To kind of help us with the progression, I added the upgrade station mod. This way we can get some higher tier tools, weapons, and armor much easier. So with that, I upgraded my metal tools so that I could harvest more resources a lot quicker and easier. Our wyvern egg is now ready to hatch, but it won't hatch in the actual soul terminal. So I have to place down all of these S+ torches and throw the egg out so it could go through its final stage of incubation. Once we got it hot enough, a little baby fire wyvern appeared. I then put it back in a soul ball and put it in the soul terminal so it would grow up. It's now day 12 and I don't need these torches anymore, so it's time for them to go. I then went out to go do some exploring and then spotted a little base down here. It looks like another subscriber has started their playthrough in this server. I came back over here to gather some silica pearls and oil. There's not a lot down here, but it's kind of the easiest place to gather it for now. That's until we can get to a deeper place or I can find somewhere else. I just don't know this map very well. Our dung beetle has been producing some fertilizer, just not a lot, but it is enough for us to be able to start some of these Plantex turrets littered around this beach. It's rained enough that they have enough water, and we do have enough poop anyway, so at least we can get them grown up and then we can fill them up with poop and replace it with fertilizer later. Much later in the day, and our wyvern had fully grown up. Now we have a flyer that can do some serious damage. It also has very low stamina. It drains rather quickly. Day 13, with my brand new fire wyvern, I headed back to the Wyvern Island. I was hoping to find a much better egg than a level 50. You see, typically if you have a wyvern, it makes it a lot easier to get another wyvern, since they're pretty fast and they can withstand some hits from wyverns, obviously. I wasn't able to find anything decent. I ended up snatching this level 15 poison wyvern egg and the other one that was close to it. Now I don't want these eggs, but I was hoping if I remove them, something else will respawn in later. Next I flew over to this thicker jungly-ish type area because I saw these big long bamboo shoots that are typically better for us to be able to gather some berries and stuff. And there's a lot of this type of vegetation around, so we can farm this for a while. And with that, we managed to get a whole bunch of narco berries. Whilst flying around, we did encounter a rather creepy SCP. SCP-093, the Unclean One. Ugh. Creeps me out. With that being said, I decided to fight it. This one wasn't super strong and our fire wyvern could use the experience. The weird thing was, when I killed it, I went to harvest it and it dropped resources as if it was a rock golem. Day 14 and the Plantex around our base had fully grown up, but they didn't seem to target the zombies very easily. Like, these zombies have been spawning in and they are shooting them, but not like really. It's kind of weird. And if the zombies get too close, they just can't seem to hit them. Next, I jumped on my wyvern and went to go hunt down this Bronto. But most importantly, there was this level 135 Rex. I had some pretty strong tranks on me, so I shot it, and it went down in one hit. And with some prime meat, hopefully it will tame up quickly. I wanted to leave render so it could tame up peacefully and hopefully nothing would spawn in and try and kill it. So with that, I just went out to explore. I wanted to see what kind of creatures would spawn in. Like, we discovered this carrier hive and all the little minions around it, and there was all types of weird creatures. But if I saw a health bar above their head, I was always scared. They're typically strong if you see a health bar, right? After that exploration, our Rex was fully tamed. I'd been told by my community that if I want to start crafting up hybrid creatures, I'm going to need a ton of organic polymer. And the only way I know I can get it easily in the early game is by Kairuku, aka pathetic little penguins. Now, I could come over here and just murder everybody, or I could just tame a male and female and breed them and sacrifice their children. I just realized both of those scenarios sound really messed up and sadistic. Managed to knock out this female, fed it some raw meat, And now we wait. But I realized that we were freezing and I was losing my health rapidly, so we had to get out of the snow area. I was also extremely hungry. I found a safe spot to land, and then I put down this fireplace to try and warm up and cook this food. I waited peacefully for some of the food to cook up and us to warm up, but this is a zombie's 100 days. So of course, a zombie had to come and try and eat us. Once we managed to get some food into our bellies, we're back onto the fire wyvern, back over to the iceberg with all the penguins to collect this Kairuku. Now I also needed a male. So I looked for one, picked it up with the claws of my wyvern, and went to a warmer area to try and find a perfect place to tame it. I ended up just taking it back to base. I shot it once with one of my trank arrows, went back inside to try and make some trank darts, but when I came out with the darts, the Kairuku had gone. I think the Plantex had killed it. Day 15, once again, we head back to Wyvern Island, hoping that a better wyvern egg had spawned in. I did find a rather interesting egg, but it was next to a rather interesting creature. This particular creature makes you go blind if you're too close to it. Kind of creepy. And I needed to escape before some of these wyverns eat my butt. Thankfully though, we did manage to escape nice and safely. And we got back to our soul terminal with this level 100 lightning wyvern egg. Whilst it incubates, we do some more work on our base. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you might think you know what type of base design I'm going for, but not this time. No, we're doing something a little bit different. Last 100 days, I asked people if they wanted to see the same base again, and some people wanted me to change it up. So we're doing exactly that. It's just kind of difficult to build a base with all these zombies spawning in. I'm rather unsure if I chose the best place to build a base like this. Either way, we're just gonna have to try. We managed to get some foundations in, take out a bunch of zombies while we're trying to build this, and place some gates. Now we just need to put some walls in to try and make this safe for us, I guess. Which we began to do on day 16. This build is getting rather expensive, but I think we're at a stage now that we can keep the zombies out. Well, somewhat. We still need to block off this side of this build as well. Place the final wall in. Yes, I think we're done. I think we're completely... We just need to put a roof on and we should be good to go. Next, I placed some more spikes around the perimeter to try and keep more zombies out because I'm unsure if they can break down stone structures. I went inside here and there was a zombie inside. These guys spawn inside, bro. To make things worse, it was a bloater. I had to try and kite it outside so it wouldn't destroy my base if I killed it. Yeah, like that. Ah, damn it. I think I'm gonna have to rethink my situation. Maybe building here wasn't a good idea. I now know I needed to contemplate my decisions. Maybe building down here with the easy access for the zombies to get at me and still spawn inside my base is kind of a bad decision. Whilst I was pondering this decision, I went to try and see if I could make some veggie cake. I know I'm going to need a bunch of cementing paste, so I want the veggie cake so I can tame myself an Achatina so that they can generate us passive cementing paste, obviously. Now for veggie cake, we need sap, and I prepared this tree platform and sap taps a little bit earlier. Now I just had to come over and collect some of the sap that had been producing. There was quite a bit. This should keep us satisfied for quite a while. Also, on the Hope map, a lot of the vegetables grow in the wild. You just got to know where to find them. Like long grass we can find in the swamp area, and we've got savaru and rock carrot just below this cliff face near the jungle area. There's citronal around here somewhere as well. I just don't know exactly where, and I don't need it right now. But I do need some honey. Now this is a kind of painful way to get it, but you can gather a small amount if you just take it from the beehive. Of course, the bees are going to be unhappy that I did that, and they're going to try and attack me. Hopefully I don't die. Oh, I'm stuck. Oh, now you're stuck. Bro, why? Get in the ball. Stupid wyvern. Once I returned back to base, I placed all of the ingredients into this cooking pot, and the only thing that I was missing was water. That's a pretty simple fix though, because we're literally floating on water. Now we can make ourselves some veggie cake and then go and tame some valuable Achatinas. I had now installed the Creature Finder Deluxe mod. This will help us find Achatinas and really anything that we need to find in this playthrough. Now, I don't want to find anything too high of a level, because the higher the level, the more veggie cake it's going to take to be able to tame it. And all it's going to do is sit in our soul terminal just producing our cementing paste. After a little while, we managed to secure our first Achatina. Obviously, if there's a beaver dam this accessible, I'm definitely going to grab it. Our Achatina snail's now in the soul terminal, and our dung beetle's been producing a ton of fertilizer. I'm still unsure what we're going to do about our whole base situation. I guess for now, at least, all I know and definitely can do is produce some more metal and start working on getting some more gunpowder so we can get some bigger trank darts and start knocking out some more creatures to tame. I went to walk inside my new base again, and there was a zombie there. Bro, see, this is an issue that I do not like about this mod. Like, bro, how did you get in? How did you get in? Even in the other room that I made, there was also zombies. From here, I realized I really need to find a better base location. I'm already quite invested in the current one, but if zombies are going to spawn inside, that's going to be quite the problem. Maybe somewhere like here on top of these pillars, this could be a good location. Like, sure, the zombies might spawn up here, but I think less will spawn and less will have a chance of making it in. If I place down some turrets around it, we should be safe. I think I'm going to have to move to up here. Now, at this point in time, I had no idea if this was the right decision or not. But what I do know is we can't successfully live in a base like this if zombies spawn inside. So I only had one choice. I had to rip this place down and start again up on this pillar. We've been able to place down all of these foundations and I haven't had a zombie spawn up here just yet. As I was going through this move, one of the guys in the server explained to me that I can place down these things called effigies and they will stop zombies from spawning. I just need to make this zombie workbench first. Not the zombie workbench, the blueprint vendor. That's what we need to make these effigies to stop the zombies from spawning. I've been using our wyvern to cart a lot of the goods back and forth, and I've been placing most of it into the architect bench since it's got the most amount of storage space with 1,000 slots. And for the rest of our day, that's pretty much what we did. Just kept moving stuff from this base all the way back up to our new base. Once we had brought everything up, it was then time to place down all of our crafting benches again, including the new blueprint vendor. I had everything I needed to be able to craft one of these effigies, but it turns out it was only a blueprint. Oh wait, what? Oh, it's a blueprint for it. Day 19, I continued building this base out a little bit more. I don't know exactly what design I'm going with. I'm just kind of winging it, and whatever happens, happens, I guess. My idea right now is just to place down the foundations, and I'll eventually place up some walls and stuff. We'll eventually put some stairs here so we can get access up to our main area, but I would love a little overhanging place so I could see the whole scenery. Whilst building this though, we do run out of resources quite quickly. Thankfully, we're right next to redwood, so getting wood isn't too much of a problem. But we do get attacked a lot by these kind of creatures. Thankfully, in this particular situation, I had one of the subscribers come by and he helped me out. I also invited him to the Alliance. This is Noah. Next, I placed down an awesome teleporter so we could get our stuff back and teleport here whenever we could. And then I actually remembered to place down a bed. I don't know what would have happened if I didn't put this down and I died. Once again, we have leveled quite a bit. So I got to unlock a whole bunch of these items that I've never seen before. I think they're part of the hybrids mod. I then crafted up some of these crop plots and placed them around the place. These are turned into Plantex turrets that will help defend our place. I then remembered that I need to get myself a male Kairuku. I can't believe I forgot all about this. Moving bases was quite the distraction. So I quickly flew over to the snow iceberg, spotted the perfect male, kidnapped him, and then flew him to a better location to knock him out. It's too cold in the snow area for me to survive here safely. I dropped him off right here. This is someone else's base, so I figured it might be a safe-ish kind of area, maybe. After I cleared out this zombie, I was able to knock it out with my super strong trank dart, and then I fed it some of this lamb meat to be able to tame it up. Also inspected this person's base while we were waiting as well. It's pretty nifty, I guess. I immediately took this Kairuku back to base, put it next to this hitching post that I placed down, and got these two breeding. Once again, we're going to turn all of their babies into polymer. How do we do that exactly? Well, I guess I'm just going to let your imagination kind of fill in the blanks. If I plan on doing mass breeding, I'm going to need air conditioners that require electricity. So with the electronics and stuff I had gathered earlier, I was able to place down this generator, or the wires that are required, and obviously an air conditioner. Oh, and that lightning wyvern egg that we collected earlier, I could now hatch it. Well, I did think I could, but one air conditioner is not going to cut it. Side note, this was the first time we encountered a zombie up here. So far, it's been quite safe. Unfortunately, this was a SWAT zombie, so it was a little bit tougher to take down, but our fire wyvern could handle it. I also thought it might be fitting to get changed into something a little bit more appropriate for the setting that we're in. This is like the SCP armor. I don't know exactly if it does anything special. It just kind of looks like it does. Day 20, it was raining and we had a ton of fertilizer. So this was the perfect time to plant all of these Plantex speeds around our base. I now need to collect a whole bunch of organic polymer if I want to start cloning some creatures. Our Kairukus aren't quite ready for us to be able to harvest them just yet, so I went to search for some mantises. I discovered that there was a whole bunch on Wyvern Island. This was going to be a dangerous trip, but it could be beneficial if we can get a bunch of organic polymer. We managed to find some mantises, but we were chased down by this grotesque creature. It made us blind and summoned in a whole bunch of minions. On the plus side though, we were able to escape with some polymer. Trying to hunt down some more of these mantises, I got into a fight with a weird SCP. It almost killed me on the back of this wyvern and it made us completely bloody. It wasn't a great image to look at and it looked like the time on this was going to last quite a while. It didn't look like it was doing much damage to us and our mission is to go and get more mantises. If we die, so be it. I did realize this part of this island had a whole bunch of metal and I know I'm going to need a whole ton of it if I want to succeed in this playthrough. I had put my wyvern away to try and get rid of this ongoing effect with all this blood and then just kept farming all of this stuff until I eventually died. Then I could spawn back at base, collect all of my gear, and place down this new contraption that we crafted with all the polymer we've gotten. This is the cloning machine. It's with this machine that we craft up a bunch of DNA that we could then use to craft our very own hybrid creatures. But it looks like there's a certain method to be able to get the DNA that we need to craft them. For certain creatures, we just need to hunt down tributes to be able to turn into DNA, and with certain other creatures, we need certain eggs. Either way, everything needs a ton of organic polymer. Also, since this is like a mad scientist theme type of hybrids, SCP zombies type of thing, I figured we'd turn this build into like a science theme build. We will get to it eventually, but for now, we have to kill off a whole bunch of penguins. Day 21, and I finally get to put my mad scientist skills to the test. As you can tell, I quickly realized that this is going to be a grindy experience, but I will say some of these creatures are definitely worth it. Now, to get myself DNA, I do need to go out and kill a bunch of creatures, because red meat is one of the biggest things that I need to craft DNA, alongside a few other things like keratin and organic polymer. Thankfully, we pretty much have an unlimited source of organic polymer. I will need to figure out the keratin situation though. I'm going to need a whole bunch of metal, which means I'm going to need an industrial forge eventually. And in order to get a bunch of metal together right now, I placed down a whole bunch of forges and placed a bunch of metal in them and got it to work. Next, I went through the engram list and basically learned every hybrid creature that I could. I then encountered a rather annoying problem. My recording software kinda was busted. It stopped recording the screen. You can hear the audio, but there's no screen. And this literally lasted for the next 4 days. It wasn't until day 26 that I realized what was happening and found a solution to the problem. But at the same time, we found this level 160 lightning wyvern egg. Finally, a decent wyvern. Now, 4 days is quite a long time for us to miss out on. So I'll catch you up now on exactly what happened. Firstly, I had made a mining laser. So now we can harvest resources a lot quicker and a lot easier. It also gives us a weight bonus when we're harvesting metal and stuff, so we can harvest a ton more metal. I had also created this ARK smelting forge. It's like an industrial forge, but it comes from the Castles and Keep science fiction mod. I had also added some more pieces to our base. A lot of these science pieces. All of the plantex that we had been growing is now fully grown and protecting our base from the zombies or whatever wanders our way. I'd made a crop plot farm just down here, but mostly for narco berries and stimberries, because that's what we're using a lot of right now. It's really easy for us to be able to get vegetables out in the wilds because they're, you know, they grow everywhere. But since we're going to focus on taming a few of these SCPs and stuff now, we're going to need a lot of narco berries. Obviously, to speed things up a little bit, we're placing down these greenhouse ceilings. I couldn't forget the S+ gardener that does all the work for us. Well, as long as we have beer for her. We'll make that eventually. I had also found another way to get a ton of organic polymer. And yes, it's by killing carcanos, but not harvesting them the normal way. Instead, I used a chainsaw that I had crafted. And just like that, we got 2,000 organic polymer. And this is a massively effective way to get organic polymer from creatures that drop organic polymer, like these mantises as well. To be able to make some DNA, we need raw fish and a lot of it. Now, this little pool of fish right here is an easy way to get it when we're on our wyvern. My next goal is to make a chemistry bench, but we're kind of low on electronics right now. Also, when we can, we use this cloning machine to start crafting DNA. It takes quite a long time to craft a bunch of it, so we keep it going as much as we can. Same thing with beer as well. We've got these beer barrels that we made earlier, and we got the beer crafting. Day 27, and I'm on the hunt to get myself some SCPs. Time to lock these babies up, starting with the SCP-999. This one also has a special ability that can also heal you and your dino at the same time. Of course, it's never going to be as simple as just taming it, right? There's always creatures that want to eat my butt. I then went to go tame it and realized it was a passive tame. I just don't currently have any rare flowers on me, so this wasn't an option. I could have tamed it with the veggies, but I wanted to use a rare flower. So instead, we went to go look for this other SCP, SCP-250. These were some odd skeletal allosauruses, and it didn't really look like there was a way to actually knock these guys out. They had no torpor bar, but it does say that they're a KO tame. I didn't really know what to do right now. So instead, we moved on. I went into the engram list to see if we could learn anything this way. See if we could learn anything about the SCPs. But as I was in the engram list, we got chased down by a flying whale. This creepy SCP. It looked aggressive and big. I tried to fight it, but when it bit me for that much, I was out of there. We had already failed to tame a bunch of SCPs. It was looking kind of bleak at this point. Then we stumbled across the creepiest SCP of them all. SCP-093, the Unclean One. And this seemed like a pretty standard knockout tame. So I shot it with my strong trank darts, but then realized I only had one trank dart and it wasn't enough. So I had to quickly teleport back to base, pick up a few more trank darts and teleport back to the Unclean One. With these tranks, we were able to successfully knock it out. I then fed it some raw mutton that we had laying around and then got chased down by annoying bugs. It's okay though, I went full chainsaw massacre on their bums. Then in no time, the Unclean One was now ours. So I jumped on its back and started running around. Honestly, I kind of expected it to be a lot stronger than it was, but it is certainly a rather interesting creature to ride. That level 160 lightning wyvern egg that we got earlier is now fully grown. Now it was time to get it out, level it up, and have some fun. Day 28 on our new lightning wyvern, we went out to go and kill some mammoths. I needed to go harvest some pelt because pelt is another resource we need to make some certain DNAs. We've been crafting DNAs for quite a while and we're getting closer to be able to make our first hybrid. Whilst waiting, we're looking a little bit scruffy, so I took this opportunity to give ourselves a fresh cut. I always forget that you start off bald and then it grows later. I then began upgrading our chainsaw. Since we're going to be using it to harvest a lot of resources like organic polymer, keratin, meat, everything that we need. But we ran out of electronics, so I need to go and get some more silica pearls to craft some more electronics, which means I need a scuba tank. We're going to dive a little bit deeper than we have before. I needed to make scuba fins, but I need silica pearls to make them. So I quickly ducked back to our original silica pearl farming spot, picked up a bunch of silica pearls, teleported back to base while I was getting my butt bitten by some piranhas, made some of these scuba fins and the scuba tank. Then I teleported back to where we were in the water originally, and now we could swim a lot faster and for a long time since we had a scuba tank on. We dove down into the depths of the ocean looking for silica pearls. We managed to find some in the depths of the ocean, but a baryonyx managed to find us. This wasn't too bad. We managed to get a bunch of silica pearls that we could still make use of for now. With my wyvern, I managed to kill a bunch of zombies while we're out and about. Now I had enough resources to make another one of these effigies, and some of the zombies that have been spawning around my base have been spawning roughly around here. So I'm going to place this down to try and protect us from spawns. But of course, a zombie would spawn over in this place. They're pretty stupid though. They tried to fight a plant. Next, I crafted a reusable glider suit. Our base is up so damn high that this is probably going to be an effective way to get around. And let's face it, it's pretty damn cool. From here, I traveled over to our old original base location and began taking down all the remaining pieces that were still here. Since we're playing on a server with a lot of other people, I wanted to make sure that there's space for other people to be able to build because it's the polite thing to do. Day 29 in the cloning machine, I turned some of these tributes that we had gathered into purified tributes that I could then turn into certain DNA to help us make a hybrid. Again, the cloning machine's kind of slow, so we went out to go and do some other things while we waited for this to happen. I would eventually like to make myself a hybrid wyvern, so we went over to the wyvern trench to try and kill some wyverns so I could get their talons to be able to make some more wyvern DNA. But I forgot that poison wyverns can actually kill you off the back of anything that you're riding. We got our other lightning wyvern out and raced back over to go pick up our high level lightning wyvern. It was chilling, nice, safe and sound. Then we could get back to murdering wyverns whilst also trying to avoid getting shot at by these poison wyverns and dying off the back of our wyvern. I got the aggro of a few wyverns, came over to this little island here, saw this Anki, and I know that they drop a bunch of keratin, so I quickly killed it, harvested the keratin before the other wyverns came over, and began fighting again. We needed a lot of wyvern talons to be able to make the DNA required to make our own hybrid wyvern, and this is kind of a slow process. I'm gonna have to think of another way to be able to harvest some of these talons. I didn't realize it till just now, but some of the purified tributes that we had created decay over time. So with this, I had to quickly transfer them over to the DNA refiner and turn all of these purified tributes into DNA so they stop decaying. I then went to go check to see if we had enough DNA to make any of these hybrids, and we still don't. Some of these creatures require unfertilized eggs as well. So with that, we're gonna have to go out and go and tame some creatures. They're just gonna be egg layers, so it doesn't really matter what their levels are, but we're gonna start with this trike. It's in a rather dangerous location, so I picked it up with my wyvern and dropped it off at a safer location. And from here, I could put this female trike to sleep, feed it some berries, and wait for it to be tamed. Once tamed, I put it in a soul ball and locked it away safely in the soul terminal for it to be able to make us some eggs. Next, I located this female Anki, knocked it out, fed it some berries, and I saw this female iguanodon nearby. That's another creature we're going to need. It's going to take a little while for these guys to wake up, so we left him here while we go out to tame some other creatures, which just so happened to be this female Rex. Surely the eggs produced from this will be something pretty powerful. You would think anyway. Close by, we found this Quetzal. I'm really just out here trying to tame anything that I recognize I know I need eggs for. We have no other use for them really other than to just produce us some eggs. Day 30, we went back out to go round up all the creatures that we had tamed. Well, the ones that were still in the wild, that is, like the iguanodon and this Anki. Now just to place them in the soul terminal and hopefully they produce us some eggs. I had harvested a whole bunch of materials and we started getting a whole bunch of cementing paste. So we're not too worried about building materials right now, which means it's a good time to upgrade our base into this science stuff. We're getting pretty close to being able to make our very own hybrid creature, but we just need a few more things like an Argentavis for Argentavis eggs and even more organic polymer. We came over to this little pond area because this seems to be the only place the Carcanos spawn, but there was none around here currently because I had already killed them, I guess. But that's when I saw this creature, the rogue Tropper, I don't know what it is, but it's a hybrid creature out in the wilds. At level 20, this thing has 15,000 health points. It's pretty damn strong. Thankfully for us, our wyvern's stronger. Oh, whoa, when it dies, it drops actual DNA. That's pretty decent. Now, another thing that we need to craft up certain hybrids is these synthetic eggs. They come in 3 different variants: small, medium, and large. Day 31, I crafted up this awesome teleporter because we're about to go on a big adventure. Our plan right now was to head onto the side of this mountain and duck into this little hidey hole. Where does this lead exactly? Well, it's the aberration zone. And down here is where you're going to find a bunch of aberration exclusive resources, as well as every artifact that you can find in the game. They're littered all over the place in this little area, and we're going to need a bunch of them if we plan on crafting a few things that are specific to this mod, and as well we plan on fighting the bosses. We stumbled across this charge node, and this is probably a place that I'm going to want to come back to quite a bit. So it was here that I wanted to set up this teleporter for ease of access. Might have been a silly place to set it up though, since there's rock drakes around here, and I forgot that you can't exactly scale the walls against rock drakes because they can follow you. Yep, mistakes were made. I forgot the rock drakes could scale the walls. Once respawned, I got everything that we had gathered from down in the aberration zone from the awesome teleporter, which included some red gems and some blue gems. I then teleported back to the aberration zone since we had already set up an awesome teleporter down here because I wanted to gather some more gems. Blue gems and green gems are pretty easy to find, but the red gems are a little bit harder to come across. At this point in time, the only red gems that I could find were on this little ledge here, but harvesting this with the mining tool, we were able to gather enough to be able to last us quite a while. The other resource that I want to gather from down here is condensed gas, but the only place that I knew I could get condensed gas was next to a Reaper spawn. With this, I found this ledge next to this artifact and set up another awesome teleporter right here. This way we can get here whenever we need so we can collect the condensed gas. I then placed down this S+ Tech gas collector, and now we wait for it to be able to generate us some gas. I was also curious to see what we could get out of these nodes here, and from this we get element ore and a bunch of metal. Day 32, and I noticed those female dinos that we tamed earlier are not producing any eggs. Huh. Where are the freaking eggs? None of them are producing eggs? Except we do have one Rex egg. I then remembered an important fact. To be able to produce eggs, you need to have a male counterpart as well. And you see, we do have a male and a female Rex. That's why we had an egg. So with this bit of information, we went out to go and hunt down some male counterparts for the current females that we have. Again, I wasn't too worried about their levels. I just needed something so we could produce some eggs. Locating all of these creatures with the Creature Finder Deluxe mod made things quite easy and quick too. I think the only creature I didn't manage to find was a Quetzal, but that's not too big of an issue. Whilst we patiently wait for some eggs to arrive, we went back down to the water to go and collect some silica pearls. I needed silica pearls so I could craft some more of these synthetic eggs. And with whatever was left over, I crafted up some electronics. I had been grinding for so long that I'm finally able to craft up my very first hybrids. And actually a whole bunch of them. But once again, this cloning chamber takes a long time to produce anything. So let's fast forward a little while until the very first one is ready to come into this world, which is this particular creature here, the Ploikti. I don't know if that's how you say it. Either way, this is the hybrid of the common fish that we see in the water and a trilobite. What in the Lord is that? It's very interesting. Can you write it? Oh, you can write it. The next hybrid we had available was the Dodo Vulture. Oh, you are ugly. You are not pretty. This thing kind of looks like Voldemort and a chicken made a baby. I want to keep some of our creatures out on display, so we're going to have to keep them well fed, which means we need to place down this trough and fill it with food. The next hybrid creature we made was a cross between a Paki and an Ovis. Hey. That's a weird looking creature. Day 33, I realized if I want to keep some of my creatures out and about in this area, I'm going to need to make some more space for them. So once again, we're expanding our base, and we're going to do this quite a bit over the playthrough. Even though we've done a lot right now, it's going to look quite different by the end of it. We were able to create some more hybrids, but we're quickly running out of DNA. And whilst we're waiting for the hybrids to craft up, I went to go farm all the resources I needed to create more DNA, like raw fish meat. I discovered a method to harvest fish meat that was quite effective. If I would kill the creatures, but not harvest their body, drag their body all the way up onto the shore, and then harvest their bodies with a chainsaw, I was able to get a lot more meat. Whilst flying around, I discovered one of my allies' bases. They were online, and they look like they've been quite busy. They even managed to make this hybrid, and this is pretty damn cool. Yeah, that's sick. I want one of them. Yes, I had decided I definitely want one of them. But for now, we'll settle with the hybrids we can make currently. Like this hybrid dodo featherlight thing. Heavy dodo. Ooh, you're pretty weird. Now, the next hybrid that we had crafted was only an aquatic hybrid. Holy Skikar. Skikar here is a mix between a thorny dragon and a megalodon. You're like weird looking, but also kind of cool looking. I'm hoping that Skikar can help us get more raw fish meat. But first, I need to make him a saddle. I realized there was no saddle option for him in the cloning machine or even in the engram list. So to run the experiment, I crafted up a normal megalodon saddle to see if that would work. All right, let's see if this works. Can I just put a megalodon saddle on you? Oh, okay. Cool. Now to test out his strength. You see, because he's part thorny dragon, he shoots projectiles. But of course, because he's part thorny dragon, his aim is a little bit off. So we just have to bite these megalodons until they die. Day 34, I crafted up some of these turrets to help protect us against some of the zombies that keep spawning at our base. I then went ahead and upgraded our crossbow all the way up until the ascendant level. Then went ahead and made some of these stronger trank arrows. Now you might be wondering, why exactly am I making these trank arrows if I have perfectly good trank darts? Well, that's because a long neck can't shoot underwater. And I want to tame some aquatic creatures, starting with this Bassie. Now I know that this is just a passive tame, so I only need to feed it some meat, but there's other creatures I want to tame. One particular creature I want to try and tame is this level 150 SCP-682. Coming to get you, Mr. CMP. I mean, look at those stats. It's extremely strong. I want it. I take my shot, I shoot it. It does a ton of torpor damage, but it one-shots me. This might end up being a little bit trickier than I had anticipated, but I definitely don't plan on giving up. After all, this thing's so damn strong. I've got to try and hit it and knock it out before it kills me. I had already run out of some of the stronger trank arrows and wanted to make some more, but we don't have quite enough narco berries to craft it exactly. So I got our good old faithful theory out and started gathering some berries. Narco berries were proving to be quite rare, or we were just pretty unlucky in this situation. We gathered a bunch, but I wanted to try and quickly get back down to that SCP as quick as possible. I was able to make this black narcotic, which does 500 times torpor damage. Surely this will be able to knock it out quickly, and we're soon going to find out if this works. I don't have many of these black arrows, so I can't afford to miss. I shot it, it hit, it done a ton of torpor, I died. Then I quickly went to return. The torpor was already draining, but I got another shot off, and we ran out of the black trank arrows. We had already done 250,000 points of torpor, and then we got a notification that the server was about to reset. I needed to be quick. Looking back on this edit, I realized I should be using my trank darts, not the arrows. No. But it was stressful at this time getting attacked by these raptors and running out of time because the server was about to restart. Unfortunately, the server did in fact restart, and when we went to return to see if that SCP was still there, it had been wiped in the dino wipe. We lost that opportunity. But hey, on the bright side, that Bassie that we were trying to tame earlier was still there. I think because it's mid-tame, it doesn't wipe. And just like that, we now have ourselves a very own Bassie. This creature also produces oil in the soul terminal passively. Day 35, I find myself getting chased down by an alpha megalodon. You know, this entire time, I actually thought I was going to get away. We come close to getting away from this thing, but unfortunately, it catches us. Next, I go ahead and gather a whole bunch of narco berries again. We're at the stage now where we plan on taming a bunch of creatures, and I don't want to run out of narcotics again. Flying around on my wyvern, I see another pink glowing creature. This is the rogue Cyanosophlux. These names are really hard to say. Cyanosophlux. Anyway, I fight this creature, and it was a little tougher than I expected, and it does a ton of damage to us. I mean, well, just to me. I died. Uh-oh. My lightning wyvern was still alive, so I flew back on my fire wyvern and went back into the fight to try and save it. Unfortunately, I was too late. I think I need to be a little bit more careful with the certain fights that I try and fight. After losing a wyvern, I was a little bit depressed, and I figured the only thing that could cheer me up is a better looking base. So it was once again time for us to work on our base again, expanding this even further than it was. This next phase is going to be even bigger, and since some of this base goes over the edge of this mountain, I should probably try and keep ourselves safe with these guardrails. Day 36, we got a visit from another person playing on the server. Again, I needed to add him to the alliance. Then I could continue finishing off this base. I was finally placing a roof on this place. Kind of makes sense, you know, try and keep the zombies out and whatever else can make it up here. And with this, I had to rearrange some of our things like these air conditioners, the feeding trough, our refrigerator, and a bunch of items that were just kind of in the way. Day 37, I was kind of bored of working on my base and I wanted to go and tame another SCP, like this creepy ferox looking thing. I got its aggro onto me and then used this as an opportunity to climb up this hill and knock it out with one of our powerful tranks. Once it had fully tamed, I had to test this baby out. It didn't require a saddle, so we could just run around on it straight away. It looks like a fierce, creepy creature. But is it strong? No, not really. I thought it would have been a lot stronger than it actually is. I mean, it has 4 freaking arms that Arnold Schwarzenegger would be jealous of. I guess it's proof that muscles don't really matter. And it doesn't seem to be fire resistant. How did I catch on fire? I have no idea what's happening right now. How am I burning right now? My only option right now was to put this thing away in a soul ball to keep it safe. Maybe it was this weird SCP that has a special ability that I don't know of. I don't know. Ooh, honey. I'm taking it. I'm taking that honey. And this honey as well. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm about to die. Rip. I needed polymer again, so it's the Carcanos hunting we go. I'm just a man with a chainsaw and a dream. Yep, that's me. The other Carcanos that was here was an alpha Carcanos. I was curious to see if an alpha Carcanos would give us even more polymer. This quickly proved to be a tougher fight than I had expected. We were doing a bit of damage to it, but if you look over there, my health was dropping rapidly too. So I placed my lightning wyvern in a soul ball to keep it safe and try and heal up a little bit. After waiting a little while and letting it heal up, we put it back out and went back in to fight the alpha Carcanos. It took us a little while and we almost came close to death again, but we finally got the job done. Now to find out whether we're going to gather more polymer than we would from a normal Carcanos. And the answer was no. We did get a lot of chitin though. So in order for us to get some more polymer, we went back over to the Wyvern Island and killed some mantises. There's also a ton of metal nodes, and since we upgraded our base, we used a lot of metal, so I need to replace that. Day 38, I picked a fight with this rather large spider. Most people would be afraid of engaging with this, but as an Australian, it's not that big, except when it hits you with an attack like this, and yeah, I'm out of here. I'm Australian, not stupid. I then returned back to my favorite pond so I could carve up some more fish, and of course, some more crabs. We have to do this a lot so we can craft up some of these hybrids. I then returned back to the cloning machine to see what other creatures I could make. Now, I could craft this Magmasaur Argentavis thingy, but I think I'd prefer this Magmasaur Fire Wyvern mix. So I'm going to save my DNA so I can start working towards making one of them. I then placed out some of the SCPs that we had tamed. I just hope that they don't try and escape. Creepy looking things. I also want to make a hybrid Wyvern as well, but I need a bunch of Wyvern talons, and it's kind of a grind to get them. But that's when I came up with an idea to be able to get a bunch of them. But to pull off my idea, I'm going to need some of these charge batteries, which I place into this charge node so that they can charge up. I'm glad I set this teleporter up earlier. Day 39, I had to keep myself busy while I waited for these charge batteries to charge up. So I came over to check to see if there was any decent level Wyvern eggs. Once again, there wasn't anything of a really high level except this one. This was a level 100 and it's gonna have to do. Next, I went and harvested some more raw fish meat. Again, I'm gonna need to make some veggies eventually, so I placed down some more crop plots and started getting them fertilized. And I planted some more narco berry seeds as well. The special tranks are really expensive and we need a lot of narcos. Next, I went to go check on our charge batteries and they were all completely full. Now it was time for us to enact our plan, to gather a whole bunch of wyvern talons. My plan is to find a place that's populated with a bunch of wyverns. Then I was gonna place down a bunch of turrets and fill them with the charge batteries and bullets. Then all I had to do was kite the wyverns over to me. But as I placed this one down and saw it aiming, I realized there was a wyvern trying to kill us. So I quickly escaped before I could place some more bullets and charge batteries in the other turrets. With one turret working, I then kited them all the way back to that turret. This proved to be an effective tactic, just like I had expected. But it is kind of slow with only one turret working, so we need to get rid of these lot first. Then once this lightning wyvern went down, I could fill up the other turrets with a charge battery and bullets. When you use a charge battery on turrets, there's a 30-second wait time before they can work. So before kiting some more wyverns over here, I went and collected all the talons that were lying around. It was then time for us to kite some more wyverns to the turrets. Best way to do that is to steal an egg. Just any egg. Any random egg will do. With a whole bunch of angry wyverns following us, we were able to kite them all over to the turrets. Then they got absolutely melted, proving this to be an effective tactic to be able to get ourselves some wyvern talons. Day 40, we continued our mission to gather these wyvern talons. I swapped out my lightning wyvern for the fire wyvern this time. I don't know why. It was just because I could. We kited the largest amount of wyverns that we had yet, and this seemed to be effective. I used my chainsaw to chainsaw up all of their remains and gather all of the talons. Now it was time to return back to base and place these talons inside the cloning machine. Then we mixed these talons with some organic polymer and turn them into purified talons, which we would then place in the DNA refinery and turn it into wyvern DNA. With all the wyvern DNA collected, I still didn't have quite enough to be able to make one of these hybrid wyverns, but there was one hybrid that I could craft, one that I've been looking forward to making, the Magmasaur Drake. Yeah, buddy. Got a Magmasaur Drake thingy. No matter what anyone says, this thing is freaking amazing. Such a majestic, demonic looking creature. And its stats are actually pretty decent. But the question is, can it do some damage? It's relatively decent, but hopefully after we pump some levels into its melee, it's a bit stronger. It also comes with a variety of attacks, like its fire breath that's pretty deadly. Before the day ended, I crafted up another hybrid, the Gorgmorlock. This is a weird Polovia Onyx hybrid. Day 41, I made a saddle for our Gorgmorlock, and I crafted another hybrid creature, the Arachnopithecus. It's a spider monkey, which is kind of creepy if you ask me. Oh my god, this is a monstrosity. This comes with a bunch of abilities, some that come from the Bloodstalker, some that comes from Arneo, and others that I don't really know. And this Polovia Onyx has a pretty mean leap. This thing should be in the NBA. Next, I teleport over to the obelisk. I want to see exactly what I need to be able to fight some of the bosses. I plan on fighting the three main alpha bosses, the Broodmother, the Megapithecus, and the Dragon. And it looks like we're going to need a bunch of tributes alongside all of the artifacts. So with that, I head out to go and collect some of the tributes, starting with Titan Boa Venom, which is arguably one of the easiest tributes to get. Day 42, I pieced together a full set of flak armor and upgraded it. Alright, finally put a full set of flak on. Ascending gear, or kind of full set. I need to put a helmet on. Hopefully now I won't die as easy as I have been previously. I then placed down this boss platform. I wanted to see exactly what I needed to be able to summon in some of the bosses from the mod. And it looks like I need a lot of element, some generic artifacts, and then all of the alpha boss trophies. Now that I definitely need to get the alpha bosses, I need to see exactly what I need to summon in the dragon as well. This one's probably the most expensive one. It also seems like someone else has been here previously. They must have also done this boss fight. I'm now a high enough level that I can make the S+ heavy auto turrets. So with the resources that I had, I made a few of them. Whilst I was flying around, I spotted a stranger on the shore. So to be a little bit cheeky, I went and picked him up with my wyvern and flew all the way to the sky. I could have dropped him from the sky just for some giggles, but that's kind of mean. Instead, I placed him back on the ground and assisted with his little zombie problem. This is a good time to check out this auto turret. 2,000 damage per hit. It's pretty dangerous. My homie here called Little Whip has now joined the Dodo Legion Alliance. I wanted to make some more effigies to spread around our main base. And to do so, I'm going to need some zombie heads. So I came down to this little beach area so I could place down my auto turret and then just waited out while my auto turret killed all of these zombies that kept spawning in. We got pretty unlucky with this round. None of the zombies dropped anything that we needed. Dude, nothing? What the frick is wrong with this? Day 43, I made a shotgun and upgraded it completely to the Ascendant level. Now, why did I do this? Because shotguns are fun. That's all. The only thing is, I realized that I'm going to need ammunition for this. And gunpowder can be quite expensive. We've been using a lot of resources just to be able to have ammunition for our turrets as well. So I had to go back out and replenish a lot of metal, stone, and flint. Yeah, this was a whole damn process just to make shotgun bullets. But I can't lie, an Ascendant shotgun is quite fun. Take that, bitches. Get out of here. Get out of here, raptor. Ooh, this Enki's kind of tough now, ain't you? Bro, these raptors are ruthless. Day 44, in preparation for fighting some of these alpha bosses, I wanted to see what the strongest hybrid was and exactly what I needed to be able to craft it. Now, I did see that there was a creature that required Giga DNA, but once I checked the Creature Finder Deluxe and saw there was no Gigas on the map, I knew I had no hope of being able to get enough DNA for it. But then I saw this, the Reaper Thorax. This is a cross between a Reaper, Megalania, and a Thorny Dragon, and I'm pretty confident I could make an army of these. But before doing so, I still had wyverns that I wanted to create. So once again, I returned to my favorite wyvern killing area and placed down the heavy turrets. These were going to do most of the work for me. And they obliterated wyverns straight out of the sky. We spent most of the day here trying to get as many talons as possible. I didn't want to have to come back again. Day 45 and we're still short of DNA to be able to make this hybrid wyvern. I thought by now we would have had enough. It's really expensive. So for a little change of pace, I extended our little gardening area. There were some modded plants that I wanted to try out and the seeds you'd make in the botany bench. I didn't know exactly what these fruits would do, but I was curious enough to try and find out. But it also looked like I'm going to need a bunch of other seeds first. And a quick way to get my hands on some seeds is an iguanodon. So I went and pinched this one out in the wild, took it to a safe location close to my base to knock it out and tame it. I went ahead and named this thing the Don. Get it? Because iguanodon. Now that I'm in the editing phase, I realized I had already tamed an iguanodon. I don't know why I went and tamed another one. It's okay though. I still use this to be able to make us some seeds. So I suppose it's kind of useful. All of the veggie seeds I placed in the crop plots and the rest I placed into the botany bench to see if I could craft what I needed. I had to go back to my iguanodon a couple times, but it wasn't until day 46 that we had exactly what we needed to be able to craft our very first modded seeds. And whatever I could make, I just made. I don't really care what it is and we'll figure it out, I guess. We had produced a lot of fertilizer, so a lot of our plants are going to be sorted for the rest of this playthrough. Now with the plants growing, we went back to the wyvern area to go hunt some more wyverns to get just enough DNA. We didn't need too much DNA, so we didn't have to stay here too long. I did stay longer than I had to. This was just way too much fun watching all of these wyverns get melted. Then after a full busy day of collecting wyvern talons and farming, we finally had enough DNA to make a hybrid. Fire lightning wyvern, which makes the, what's it called? Plasma wyvern. Now to just wait what feels like a lifetime for this wyvern hybrid to craft. Day 47 and all of our hard work had paid off. We now have our very own hybrid wyvern, the plasma wyvern. Well, you kind of really just look like a lightning wyvern with some fancy wings. Now this wyvern does look a little unique, but also not as well. It can also glide, which is quite interesting. Now how does its attacks work? Well, it shoots these little plasma balls, which light things on fire. Does quite a bit of damage as well, but if my aim's off like it is right now, we do miss those little things. As I was flying around shooting the deadly animals in this world, I ran out of stamina. Oh, this is a bad time to run out of stamina. Oh no, I'm getting killed. I'm getting killed. This carrier hive was absolutely wrecking us. Our health was melting, but I needed the stamina so we could escape. We gotta get out of here. This is bad. This is bad. Get up. Go, 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 go. Oh, that was lucky. This fancy wyvern is cool and all, but it's not as great as I had hoped. I don't really love the way that its attack works. Next, it was time to summon in the Reaper Thorax that we had created. Ooh, you're a beast. And this creature was a beast. Look at its health, 13,000 health points, This thing must be pretty strong. Now we got some more larger creatures. Again, I'm going to need to expand our base. I placed down some of these cliff platforms to try and help us get some more area. I then crafted and made another Reaper Thorax. Now we have a male and a female. I wanted to see if we can breed them together and see what would happen. Initially, we ran into a weird problem. The egg that it produced was unfertilized. We're going to have to rerun that experiment once again, but for now, I'm going to place a saddle on the back of it and see if it's even strong enough or even worthy of us having to build an army for. Remember, my intentions for these creatures is going to be our boss fighters. Now, yes, it is strong, but I think its biggest advantage is the fact that it's part Reaper, so it should have a damage resistance to it as well. It also has a corrosive attack that does tick damage over time, so it does melt a lot of creatures quite quickly. Day 48, and we've been struggling to expand our base outwards, so I figured the only other option is up. We've been using the roof anyway, so we might as well open this up with a stairwell. And from here, I just expanded it with some ceilings. We got to keep safety first here, guys, so make sure the railings are in so no one falls down the stairs. Whilst out and about in the desert biome, I spotted this level 130 Rex. Now, if the Reaper Thoraxes don't really turn out to be great boss fighters, at least we can rely on a good old Rex. So taming a breeding pair of these can't hurt. We need their eggs anyway because there's possibly some hybrids that we could make from a Rex egg. Day 49, we went on the hunt to go and capture some SCPs. This will keep us busy while some of the creatures at base are breeding. The first target SCP that we found was surrounded by a bunch of other enemies. So in order for us to capture it, I snatched it up off of the ground and brought it to a much safer location where I could knock it out. Well, I think it's safe. There's a lot of creepy noises happening in the distance. Either way, this juvenile SCP-939 was now captured. Next, we came to hunt down this SCP-953. But when I targeted it with the awesome spyglass, I realized it has some weird taming requirements. I knocked it out anyway, just to see if maybe some meat would work. What's the worst that can happen, right? Close by, we stumbled across a whole bunch of other SCPs. They were all bunched up rather close, and I didn't want to risk my wyvern, so I put that away, used my glider to get close, and started shooting them with our ascendant shotgun. Surprisingly, we were doing quite a bit of damage. This seemed to be an effective tactic with very little risk. I like it. We took down this rather large serpent, quickly followed by the broodmother that was nearby. There was another SCP shadow main that was close, couple shotguns to the head, and it disappeared. I chainsawed this spider and we got a bunch of things called the flesh that hates. Unsure what this is, but I'm sure I'll find out shortly. Right now, I need to escape from whatever the hell's trying to kill me. What is that? Something underground? Whoa. I can't even see it. Was that you? Mr. SCP-610. Oh, wait, no, there's something under the ground. What is that? I couldn't figure out what that thing is under the ground. Then I saw this. It must have been the Reaper the entire time. They can go underground, I'm pretty sure. Either way, it was doing a ton of damage to me and sent me back to the afterlife. I inspected the flesh that hates stuff and saw it's what I used to be able to craft certain SCPs. And there was one SCP that I could craft straight away, so I tested this out. This was SCP-1762. It's a box. That's all it is. Kind of weird if you ask me, and really creepy. But I suppose that's what SCPs are. Now it was back for us to finish off the rest of the SCPs that were out here in the wild. And I wanted to get my revenge on that Reaper. The Xenofem, they call it. It has quite a bit of damage reduction, so our shotgun was having a bit of a difficult time killing it. So my next tactic was to try and stick to the side of this redwoods tree and shoot down from here. Again, we weren't doing enough damage to this Reaper for it to be worthwhile. We were just wasting bullets, really. So with this, I moved on to this other creature, the SCP Titan. Now, living out my Spider-Man fantasies, I was able to shoot this thing in the back and its little friend that was near it, only for them to say goodbye. Of course, I wanted more of this flesh that hates stuff, and chainsawing their bodies gives us a whole bunch of them. Back at base, I went upstairs and I saw these random little wyverns just chilling here. SCP-1762. Yo, where the frick are you coming from? Were the boxes making them? Day 50, we had enough resources to make another one of these SCPs. Now, they do require element, and you might be wondering, where have I got an element from? Honestly, I have no idea. It just kind of comes up sometimes. I think I kill certain creatures that might drop it. I just don't know. Now, this SCP that we crafted was the SCP-610, the Xenofem. Yes, a Reaper. Unfortunately, not a very good one. Considering its level, that doesn't look very good. Its health kind of sucks, but its attacks are actually pretty decent. I mean, it's just a red Reaper. Nothing special about it, really. It does do gnashing damage over time, so that's a pretty decent advantage, I guess. With a whole bunch of SCPs now contained, I need to place them somewhere. These critters cannot get away. Once again, we have to expand our base yet again. This location's good because it's hidden away from zombies, but in terms of keeping space for all of our dinos to be out and about, it's kind of tricky. And I'm not the most creative builder. I'm kind of just winging it as we go along. But after a little while, we were able to enclose in one of these SCPs so it can never escape again. Some of these larger SCPs are going to have to live in caged off areas, like the four-armed Devil Ferox, and the Bloody Red Reaper. Day 51, I launched myself off this cliff platform only to spot some lightning coming out of the ground. As I closer investigate, I see that it's a rather large monster, and he's kind of scarily close to my base. I shoot him a couple times with my shotgun, and then I realize he has 4.8 million health. I have no hope of defeating this guy with a simple shotgun, but I do plan on trying to fight him before the end of day 100. For now, I'm just going to try my best to avoid him, which is kind of hard to do since even at my base I can hear his noises. I really hope he can't kill anything around here. This was proof that I need to get a move on and create a really strong army so I can fight some bosses and even defeat that guy. I then created my very next hybrid, the wolf wyvern. I can't lie, this thing's pretty damn wicked to look at. I can't test him out right now because he doesn't have a saddle, but we will do so later. But now I headed back to the ocean because I needed to collect some more raw fish meat, hunting down a bunch of megalodons and whatever fish could give me raw fish meat. We managed to stock up on quite a bit and even got our hands on some black pearls and silica pearls. This should be enough to keep our cloning machine busy crafting enough DNA for us for now. Day 52, I discovered that there were a few high-level gigas on the map. Now, of course, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to be able to tame one of these. This particular one was a Twilight Giga. Now, I don't exactly know which mod this comes from or if it's better or not. Either way, it's a level 145, so I'm gonna have to tame it. Whilst waiting for it to tame, I took this as an opportunity to start having some fun with my shotgun. Ascendant shotguns are damn OP. These mammoths were now extinct once again. As for these creepy sycamores, they were a little bit harder to take down. I think because they're so skinny, they avoided some of the spray damage. The Giga was almost tamed, but its torpor was rapidly dropping as well. It just needed to eat one more time, and then it would be fully tamed. Just like that, we now have a Twilight Giganotosaurus. Now to go see if we can tame this other Giga that was close by. As we were heading over to this other Giga, we saw this SCP in the shallows of this water. I knew I could shoot this with my dart gun, so I took this as an opportunity to tame it. Once tamed, I jumped on its back and went for a little swim around the ocean. Yes, we're a little bit distracted on our first mission of getting a Giga, but hey, this thing's damn cool. I wanted to suss it out. Now, it seems as though it's not really affected by the eels. Like, typically I should get dismounted, but I didn't, and we managed to kill these eels with ease. This would be a very handy aquatic creature for us to be able to use to be able to gather a bunch of raw fish meat as well. Anyways, back to Giga taming. I knocked this one out. It's only a level 55, but it is a female. So we can start breeding this with the other high level one that we collected and maybe be able to breed some stats into it. I spotted a Spino just down the ways. And I mean, I got nothing else to do right now, so I figured I might try and tame that. There was a baryonyx nearby as well, so I shot that and knocked it out as well. Whilst I was feeding the Spino, I got attacked by this Madagascar. It's only a level 20, but the only way I could get it off of me is by knocking it out. I gave it some meat and it immediately tamed. So we've got a Madagascar now. Female Giga, fully tamed up. Not the greatest stats, but hey, we'll make it work. It's still a goddamn Giga for God's sake. Baryonyx acquired, soon followed by this Spino. Now back to base to get these Gigas to breed together. No, they're not the same. You got a Twilight Giga and then a normal Giga. Yes, unfortunately, this Twilight Giga cannot breed together with a normal vanilla Giga. That's a shame. Moving on, I made this industrial grill so we could cook up a bunch of food for ourselves. Soon followed by this industrial cooker for other things. I don't know what yet. Day 53, we went to go check on our crops. And there was one crop that I had planted earlier that just didn't seem to be growing. Turns out the water source wasn't reaching it and it wasn't irrigated. But all of our other crops seemed to be growing healthily, like this bioelectric plant. Since we've been using our chainsaw quite a bit, I figured it was about time that we upgrade it up until the ascendant level. Now it can harvest these crabs way more efficiently. And I actually think we get a lot more polymer from it than we did previously. Like from 2 crabs, we almost get 5,000 organic polymer. To craft DNA, we do need a bunch of keratin, not chitin, just keratin. And I found the best way to get keratin is from thorny dragons. And by using our chainsaw, we get a lot of it. The annoying thing is, thorny dragons are always found in areas with other creatures that when I kill the thorny dragon, those other creatures want to eat the bodies of my thorny dragons. Day 54, I stumble across this SCP-1471. And apparently it's a passive tame. I just tried to try and figure out exactly how to tame it. I thought maybe it tamed similar to a gacha, so I threw something at it. But this didn't seem to work. When that didn't work, I decided to run around it and shove this giant bee honey right up its butt. Now that makes 2 of us that enjoys honey in weird places. Ironically enough, we then found a gacha that was close by. So I fed it some metal pieces that we had on us. And I guess now we have our very own gacha. Hopefully it's a good one that produces good resources. What are you gonna produce? What are you producing? Stone, fiber, raw salt, silica pearls, gas, polymer. I mean, polymer could have been good, but eh. Brand new SCP acquired. It's time to cage him up. My man's chewing on the gates. Is he gonna get out? I don't think so. You creepy mofo. Next, I made a saddle for our wolf wyvern. I was excited to test this thing out. It's just pretty cool looking. Now, it's got a pretty high vertical leap, and it glides just like a rock drake. And from the height that we jumped from, we actually made it quite the distance and stumbled across another SCP, SCP-2662. I shot it with a trank arrow and then quickly realized it's a passive tame. Oh, it's a passive tame. My bad. My bad. Just realized you're a passive tame. My bad. It's now day 45 and I keep forgetting exactly what tributes I need to be able to fight these bosses. My first boss that I want to try and fight is the Broodmother. RG sucker. But again, I want to try and get myself a high level Rex army, just in case I can't figure out how to breed these Reaper thoraxes. This level 145 female Rex should assist us in our goal on defeating some of these bosses. I ran into a slight problem though. This Sabertooth was attacking the Rex while it was sleeping, which will ruin its taming effectiveness. 71% is not too bad. We can make that work. Just as the Rex had fully tamed up, it got into a fight with this Breaker. My goal was to just try and get this thing inside a soul bore as quick as possible, and we successfully got that done. Now we just had to deal with this Breaker. Fuck it. We're fighting. We're fighting. It does a fair bit of damage to us and chases us down rather quickly. I was hoping it couldn't swim, so I ran straight to the water and dove down deep. A little bit cheesy, but it didn't look like it was going to make it to me. And with our Ascendant shotgun, we were able to defeat this monstrosity. In the desert, I located a male 145 Rex. This had pretty high pre-tame health stats, so of course I took this as an opportunity to tame a decent Rex to breed. With both of our high-level Rexes acquired, it was time to start breeding them together to create a massive army. It's now day 55 and I log back in from a weekend away. IRL, and I accidentally left my Rexes on breeding the entire time. So yeah, we have a lot of Rexes. It's safe to say we're going to be pretty fine for a lot of these boss fights, maybe. Now to just sort through all of these, and all of the ones with the bad stats, well, they're going to get deleted. I am hatching all of them, but a lot of them are going to have to go. I then went out to go tribute farming, starting with some more Titan Boa Venom, then getting some Therizino Claws, Sarco skins from the swamp, and Tyrannosaurus lungs. Day 66, we went to track down some sauropod vertebrae. If there was a Bronto or a Diplo around, we were going to kill them. I ran into a pack of Allosauruses, and yes, I could use their brains. I then ran into a SCP-999 again, and since this is a healing type SCP, I figured it could be a perfect tame for a boss fight. Since it needs rare flowers to tame, I went back to base to pick up some rare flowers, returned to this SCP, fed it, and it was now ours. Once I brought it back to base, I had to figure out exactly how this thing worked. It looks like if you pet it, it gives it like an extra buff, but then it genuinely just heals things around it. I then discovered it works like a shoulder pet. Looks kind of weird on my shoulder, kind of like an umbrella, but hey, if it works, it works. Day 58 and we spotted a high-level Giga on the map. And you know I had to tame this beast. Whilst the Giga was knocked out, I figured since we're already on Wyvern Island, I might as well farm this place for some resources. But whilst I was farming, I encountered this mother of worms, one of these deviant boss type creatures. Then I thought to myself, hey, we've got a massive amount of Rexes back at base. This could be the perfect opportunity to fight a world boss and see if we could win. I wasn't planning on risking this Giga, so we're going to put it away for now. Instead, we'll get out a whole bunch of our Rexes and use these to fight this world boss. Now, the mother of worms summons in all of these other little minions. And individually, they're not that strong, but as a group, they wreck some of our Rexes. But with a little Rex army, we're absolutely annihilating this mother of worms. Honestly, I was expecting the mother of worms to be a lot stronger than it was. Yeah, we got stuff. But once we killed it, it did drop a bunch of things. The only thing is, we had to deal with all the rest of the minions that were summoned in. And they wrecked all of our Rexes. Even with the boss gone, our Rexes kept dying. But the boss did drop a few items that were quite interesting. After killing the mother of worms, we also got a trophy from her as well. I then went back out to go farm some more tributes, this time RG Claws. Later on, I went to the Green Obelisk to see what else I needed to be able to fight the Alpha Broodmother. And I was missing a few of the artifacts. So back down to the Aberration Zone we went to go pick these artifacts up. Day 59 and we're still hunting for artifacts. There was one specific artifact that I couldn't find. It took me quite a while, but it was here, hiding behind this tree. The artifact of the hunter. We returned to the Green Obelisk and placed all of the artifacts in there just to make sure that we had all the right artifacts. Confirming we have all the right artifacts, now we just need to collect all of the tributes. Back at base, I used these items that we got from the mother of worms, and they summoned in these creepy creatures. Now we have our very own tamed big boy and imp. I returned back to the Green Obelisk and started getting out 20 of my strongest creatures. We had bred up a few of these Reaper thoraxes, finally, so we're going to bring a bunch of these. I realized all of these are unleveled, and since we're fighting the alpha boss, we're going to need to level them up. Basically just pumping points into health and melee. Unfortunately, this comes with a catch though. I need to place them away in the soul ball so they can heal up before we even begin this fight. Then return back to base and wait until they're healed up. After quite a bit of time had passed, it was time to get this army back out. Since we're fighting vanilla bosses, we can only bring in 20 dinos maximum. I made sure to set up a few saddles on some of the Rexes as well, and the main Rex that I'm riding has an Ascendant saddle. Then it was time to begin this fight. Here we go. I hope this works. We made it into the boss fighting arena. Now it was time to fight this big red broodmother. Am I prepared with this army? Are they strong enough? Let's find out. I whistled all of these creatures to start fighting this alpha broodmother, but quickly some of them started dying. I was really hoping the SCP-999 was helping with healing these guys up. Come on, tickle monster. This is not going very well. Quickly, our little army was dying off, and the broodmother's health was only a fraction of the way down. This was not looking good. I tried fighting from a different angle, hoping to not get hit directly from the broodmother's attacks. My Rex having an ascendant Rex saddle should help us out and give us a slight advantage. I realized this was a losing fight quickly, so I dismounted and tried to escape. Tried to get as high as possible on top of one of these mushroom shelves. All of my Rexes are dead. It was only me and my shotgun, and the limited amount of shotgun bullets that we have, I don't think this is going to work. I then teleported back to base. I knew we had no hope on defeating the broodmother. I had failed. Just to see if we could do a little test, I grabbed a bunch of Rexes out of the soul terminal and saw if I could teleport back to the arena. And I could. Only thing is, there was no boss in sight. Oh, where did it go? It's completely gone. Well, damn. If that little strategy worked, that would have been pretty cheesy. I'm definitely going to have to rethink the strategy moving forward, since alpha bosses are quite damn strong. I'm determined to defeat and fight this alpha broodmother, which means I need to go farm some more tributes once again. Sauropod vertebrae, Titan Boa venom, the whole lot all over again. This next strategy though, I think I'm gonna get myself a Tyrannosaurus. Unfortunately, once we knocked this Uti out, it was getting attacked by this Carno, which means its taming effectiveness has gone down once again. So to solve this little issue, I decided to give it a bunch of stimulant to wake it back up so I can knock it back out again and get 100% taming effectiveness. This is going to take quite a while to wake up since it has a lot of torpor that needs to drain. Day 61, we're back in the aberration zone once again, collecting the artifacts we need to be able to fight the alpha broodmother. Then back in the open wild, collecting tributes and getting pounced on by Thylacolios. Holy crap, these guys keep pouncing on me. In the redwoods, we come across this SCP-096, a very creepy humanoid type SCP. Of course, we can't let this one run around in the wild, so I had to tame it, bring it back to base, and lock it up. There you are, Mr. 096. Locked up and away from everything. Day 62, we're back in the snow taming a Tyrannus. That one that we knocked out earlier and then tried to wake up, I forgot about it completely. This one's a pretty decent level, but its stats kind of suck, but that's okay. It is what it is. We now have a Uti. Then once again, it was back to tribute farming. I'd created a little storage box just for our tributes. This way I could keep track of them a lot easier. Day 63, I set some turrets up around the green obelisk. This would get rid of all the little pests that keep spawning in, like the zombies, dinos, everything that kind of annoy us whilst we're trying to get ready for the boss fight. Unfortunately, with the more Rexes we got out, the more hiding spots these zombies had. So I had to deal with them with my shotgun. All of my Rexes were out and my Tyrannosaurus was ready to go. It was once again time to fight the alpha broodmother. Hopefully this time, this Tyrannosaurus will make all the difference. Come on, baby. This time we got it. We landed in the boss arena. I jumped straight on the back of my Tyrannosaurus. With SCP-999 healing all of my Rexes, we should be able to make this work. I courage rolled all of my Rexes and sent them in to fight the alpha broodmother. We were chipping away at its health and my Rexes weren't dying yet. All right, they're holding out. They are going to be dying soon. The courage roll does make a big difference. Using my spyglass, I was scanning all of the Rexes and seeing that their health was actually quite low. Then a bunch of our Rexes just started dying. Oh, this is not good. No. Things are already starting to look bleak. We've lost a bunch of our Rexes. I really didn't want to lose our brand new Uti, so I dismounted and tried to put him in a soul ball. No. Unfortunately, this is disallowed in a boss arena, and our Uti died quickly. Uti's dead. Uti's down. I once again made a quick escape to the top of this mushroom thing. We got the alpha broodmother's health halfway down, but it just wasn't enough. I tried to stay as persistent as possible with my shotgun, but I saw that my ammo was quickly depleting. It was safe to say that this battle was lost. Just gonna have to accept defeat on this one. Day 64, and I'm feeling kind of defeated from losing to the alpha broodmother twice. I can already tell that the comment section is gonna have a field day with this one. In other news, there was a world boss right near our base. This overgrown, crazy looking, golem looking thing. Now, because I have a ton of Rexes, I figured I could fight this thing and defeat it. I don't have a 20 Rex limit, but this thing has 1.6 million health, and because it's a golem, it has damage reduction. So even with almost unlimited Rexes, we didn't really do much damage at all. Back-to-back boss fighting failures. This is kind of looking bad. But hey, do you know what I am good at? Collecting fiber. Yeah, so I did that. I mean, I might as well. I've got a sickle. I have to defeat this alpha broodmother. I'm determined. Once again, I'm preparing to fight it, this time making sure that every Rex is as leveled as possible. And I'm only bringing the best Rexes that I've got. Strangely enough, my screen started going a little bit weird. I thought it was my PC at the time, until I realized it was actually the zombie infection. You see, the more times you get hit by zombies, the more that this infection bar increases. And there's only really one way to cure this infection, but we didn't get to that until day 65. You see, you've got to use this zombie workbench to make the zombie plague cure, which require a bunch of items exclusive to the zombies mod. We need antibiotics, bandages, painkillers, plastic, and a stim pack. The stim pack we already have, the rest we have to make from other resources. Thankfully, we had most of the things on hand. Zombie plague cure. It's been getting pretty bad. I need to fix it. Once we made this purple concoction and drunk it, it cleared up our entire screen. Now we can focus on fighting bosses again. I needed to tame up another SCP-999. We need a decent healer. Day 66, I prepared a bunch of Rex saddles and upgraded them as much as I could. I then went out to go hunt down another Tyrannosaurus since we lost the other one. I'm not too phased on the level. I just need something that can stand at the back and courage roar. This world boss was really close to our Tyrannosaurus, so I wanted to try and kite it away. It didn't work very well though. The Tyrannosaurus ended up taming up, but it was also killed by the world boss. Oh no! Damn it. So we flew over to the snow biome to go and find another Tyrannosaurus and tame it here. Whilst waiting for that Yeti to tame up, we went and had a little bit of fun on our Magmasaur Drake. The Yeti was now tamed up, so we put it away in a soul ball, but then we spotted some SCPs. Well, they spotted me. SCP-745. They were pesky little creatures similar to raptors. One I knocked out, the other one I shotgunned in the face. We had now tamed a rather interesting SCP. So on day 67, we went to go test this beast out. Its average attacks are rather weak, but it can bleed and cripple its enemies as well, which gives it quite the advantage. So even though its singular attacks seem kind of weak, it drains its enemies' health kind of fast with all the extras that it does. But ultimately, this SCP needs to be caged up and put away. Also, to add to my strategy on fighting this boss and trying to successfully win, I added a Daedon to our boss fighting army. They're all over the map, so I figured I'd pick up a couple just in case I fail again, and maybe I can breed them as well. I've quickly learned that fighting alpha bosses, you really need to be super prepared. So even with my Reaper Thoraxes and Rexes, I need to have the right backup. I teleported over to the Green Obelisk to start setting up for the boss fight, but there was a bunch of creatures around, specifically these SCPs that are invincible. They didn't seem too aggressive once they were in this state, so maybe they'll be okay. But I spotted something in the distance and went to go investigate. As I got closer, SCP-682 had been summoned. This must be something interesting. Oh, what is that? Oh, it's that big weird whale thingy. SCP-682. I shot it a couple times with a tranq dart and put it to sleep. It was time to tame this thing. Oh man, you're so damn big. Did it just body slam me? Of course, it's never that simple though. Oh, what's happening? Wait, little wyvern thingies? Wait, did that thing summon? Oh, is that what got summoned in? Oh, okay, gotcha. Day 68, and we figured out how to kill these SCP-1471s. They're only invincible for a short amount of time. Thanks to our awesome spyglass, we can tell exactly when that time is. Close by was this large crocodile-type SCP, SCP-682. This is the one that we encountered in the water earlier, and it absolutely decimated us. So now I wanted my revenge by capturing it, which once again was going to be easier said than done. This time I'm a little bit more prepared with my stronger tranq darts. Since we're not underwater, I can use these darts and not just arrows. And quite simply, put this bad boy to sleep. I fed it some raw mutton and it tamed up rather quickly. Then it started going on a rampage immediately. It didn't need a saddle so I could ride it, and then I went out to go test out its abilities. I was surprised. It's really strong. Then I went to go check on 682. It was taking a little bit longer to tame up. Maybe I had missed something. Oh, I did. I forgot to feed it. It was that simple after all. It was that simple after all. We had no time to mess around. It was now time to fight the boss once again. This time round, surely I'm prepared enough. We've even mutated some of our Rexes so the health stats are a lot bigger than they were before. We've got SCP-999, a Daedon, and a Tyrannosaurus as support creatures, and this time round, only Rexes and our strongest ones. Third time's lucky. Man, we got saddles, Uties. This time round, hopefully we defeat the Alpha Broodmother. I courage roar as much as possible. My Daedon is healing them all up. A little while in, we've been chipping away at the Broodmother's health, and a lot of our Rex's health has been holding up. I think the upgraded saddles is making a huge difference, as well as our Daedon. Alpha Broodmother's health is halfway, and our army is staying strong. I accidentally dismounted off my Tyrannosaurus and landed on a Rex. Mistakes were made, and our Uti almost died. I think we're gonna win. Where the frick's that Daedon? The Daedon died, didn't it? The Daedon did in fact not die. Well, not at that very point. It died now. There it goes. Stupid. It's okay though, because it looks like we're about to win. A few of our Rexes are going down, but so is the Broodmother's health. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're prepared this time. It's the biggest difference. Our Rexes were holding on strong. Our Tyrannosaurus is healing up. Everything was looking good. And then it happened. There we go. Oh my lord. It's now day funny number, and we have unlocked a bunch of tech engrams. And so that we can make some of these tech items, I'm going to need a tech replicator. With our last Daedon dying, we're definitely going to need to breed some up. Thankfully, we tamed up a couple of them so that we can actually do this. I do want to start utilizing my Reaper Thoraxes. So it's time we really focus on breeding an army of these guys up. I had also crafted up a bunch more of these hybrid creatures, like this Ankylodicarus, which is an Anky and a Dodicarus. Obviously. Is that obvious? Maybe it's not. It's just a spiky doed. Then we crafted up this scorpion Eurotrip deep water bug thingy. With all of these hybrids being made, I then made this biosynthesizer. It's a cloning machine, but it works way more efficiently and a lot faster. Day 70, since we've been cooking up a bunch of hybrids, I need to replenish my organic polymer stock. So it was back to my good old favorite Carcanos hunting spot. I figured I'd go over to Wyvern Island as well. Since I've got really good armor and this shotgun, I knew this was going to be a lot more fun. There's a few other hybrids that I'd like to cook up before the end of this 100 days. Also, since we've unlocked some tech engrams, I need element, and I found on Wyvern Island that these certain rocks sometimes drop element. It doesn't drop every time we harvest these rocks, and it is kind of rare, but hey, I'll take whatever I can get. Day 71, we teleported over to the blue obelisk to start preparations and fighting the alpha megapithecus. Strangely enough, it looked like someone left one of their creatures here. All right, whose is this? 3 big guys, you freaking punks. Clean your mess up, boys. I then inspected all of the tributes that I'm going to need to be able to fight this alpha megapithecus. A lot of the tributes I already had, but some of the ones that were missing were Spinosaurs. Spinos are kind of a rare spawn in this map, so we got to try and take what we can get. But whilst flying around looking for Spinos, we encountered this monstrosity. Is this like a red element node? Flesh wound? Flesh? It's big. It's like flesh out of the ground. This is gross. This is gross. This was called SCP-610 Vein. What exactly is this? I honestly have no idea. What I did know though was I could kill it. So I did exactly that, hoping to get something out of it. And once it disappeared, we didn't get anything. We'd been breeding a few of these Reaper thoraxes finally. So I took one of them out for a spin. Used it to hunt down some Spinos as well as get some juicy levels. I even got to test its might against this big breaker. This wasn't a tough fight at all. Although we weren't doing a ton of damage, it wasn't doing basically any damage to us. And to top it all off, we got a ton of levels. Day 72, and after killing that breaker, we got a weird item. It's called the Unassembled Outbreak Mech. I was rather curious, so of course I crafted it. Now, I'm pretty sure we got it from the breaker, but I might be wrong. I don't know, but this is it, the Outbreak Mech. Kind of badass if you ask me. It's like Gundam Wing, but not as cool. Anyways, we're back on the mission to hunt down some more Spinos for the Spinosales. We got 2 in one spot, which was kind of lucky, I guess. Then the only other tribute that we were missing was Megalania Toxin. Thankfully, we have a teleporter right near where they spawn, and a whole bunch of them spawn here, so we don't have a problem getting our hands on the toxins. Teleported right to the blue obelisk and chucked in all of the tributes that I had just to double check that I had everything I needed. Only thing missing was the Megalodon teeth and the artifacts, all of which we had stashed away at base. But before actually starting this fight, I figured I'd get some warmer clothes. And thanks to the augment station on the upgrade bench, we can actually change our flak armor into some warmer clothes. Now it's finally time to get back to the blue obelisk, destroy all the zombies that keep spawning around us, and start the fight. Please make it out of there. Freaking. This could be bad. I'm predicting this not go too well. With all of our dinos running around like crazy, they kind of got mixed up. Once we finally spawned in, I couldn't find my Yudi. And to make things worse, it was kind of stuck in amongst everything. Luckily, in the Megapithecus fight, it takes a little while for the boss to get here. Kind of. It eventually made it to us, and I still needed to try and mount our Yudi. Because without that courage roll, I wasn't confident that we would actually win this fight. Finally, I made it onto our Yudi. Immediately did our courage roll and let my army loose on this massive ape. Our Yudi was a little bit too in and amongst it all, so we tried to escape and get away. I also wanted to get my Daedon out of there as well. The Daedon. Okay, courage roll. It was hopeless. It wasn't gonna work. Daedon went in. It wasn't supposed to go in. Even with all of this chaos happening right now, we were managing to do quite a bit of damage to this Megapithecus. We had lost a few of our creatures, but we were holding in there, and it looked like we were gonna win. Although a couple of my Rexes did fall over the edge here. Oh, one of my Rexes has gone down. No, they're falling! This is probably not the best place to fight. This could have been bad. Ooh, that could have been bad. That was almost bad. Finish him, finish him, finish him! We managed to defeat the Alpha Megapithecus. You stupid, what are you doing? 3 big guys, stuff you guys. Bet you freaking made me lose one of my people. Day 73, and we need to start preparing for the Alpha Dragon fight. And for the Alpha Dragon, we need Tuso tentacles. Surprisingly, when you kill one, you get 8 tentacles at once. I'm not sure if I'm really great at maths, but I'm pretty sure squids only have 6 arms, not 8. Either way, it is what it is. So after killing 2 Tusos, we got all the tributes we needed from them. They also drop us a crazy amount of keratin as well. There was another Tuso close by, and I couldn't pass up an opportunity to kill another one. After all, the black pearls could be worth it as well. We're now back at base, and I could make another one of these a zombie effigy. But this time, this was like the bigger one, so it covers like a larger area. I placed it down here by the SCP, so they're no longer bothered. Now to double check exactly what I needed to summon in the Alpha Dragon. This is probably the most expensive boss to summon in. Day 74, and I'm in need of a bunch of electronics. And the best way I know to be able to farm a bunch of silica pearls is with an anglerfish. The problem is, the particular anglerfish that I was after was surrounded by a bunch of enemies. Last thing I wanted was to lose our shark. So I dismounted and tried to put it in one of these soul balls. I was getting attacked from every direction and I had no idea if I actually grabbed the shark or not. And then we died. Don't worry, fam. That right there, that's the shark. It's still alive. I managed to return to the anglerfish that we were targeting, knock it out, and tame it. Once tamed, we got straight to work collecting as many silica pearls as possible. The oceans of the Hope map are quite vast, but lucky for us, silica pearls are everywhere. What I didn't expect to find was an SCP this deep underwater. SCP-3700. Yes, as soon as I heard those noises, I knew it wasn't a good idea to stick around. Day 75, we went to go collect all the artifacts we needed, then back to the red obelisk to see what tributes were missing, then back to our base so we could replace this old data generator with a new tech generator. Day 76 begins with us hunting down this Tyrannosaurus for its lungs. Farming tributes for these alpha fights is kind of a grind, but it must be done. The most difficult tribute I found was the Giga Heart, unless you got some turrets with some batteries in it. Then it makes it much easier. Oh dude, this guy's getting melted. See you later, Giga Gator. That was bad. Turrets and the aimbot are extremely overpowered. Like, who even needs dinosaurs anymore? Oh crap, oh crap. He's gonna eat me. He's gonna kill me. No, kill him before he kills me. No! Damn. When I arrived back at this Giga with my wyvern, he was instantly deleted. Day 77, we went back to the red obelisk and placed all of the tributes in it, only to find out that we were short on a few of the T-Rex arms and the Allosaurus brains. Allosaurus brains are pretty easy to get your hands on since they always are in packs of 3. And regarding the T-Rex arms, we had some lying around the base that was already covered. Right now, I need to prepare all of our creatures to be able to get ready for this boss fight. For example, our Daedon right here has been healing up some of the dinos already, so its food is kind of low. We needed to fill up on some more food so it can heal whilst we're in the fight. It's now day 68 and we're now prepped and ready to fight the Alpha Dragon. Only problem is with all of these dinos scrambling around so much, it makes it hard for me to actually reach the terminal. And because they're so big, if I whistle them too far away, there's a chance they might actually not make it into the fight. We do eventually make it to the terminal and activate this boss fight. Now, it's not usually recommended that you go into this fight with some Rexes. Typically, you fight the dragon with Therazinos. That's the normal meta. But we're doing a 100 days challenge and we don't have the time to breed up a whole bunch of Theries right now. We just gotta hope that our Reaper Thoraxes help us out. Anyway, the dragon has landed on the ground, so I sent my army in to start attacking. It's doing a ton of damage. Oh no, I should have brought heal potions for myself. Yes, that was one thing I did forget. The Dimorphodons do run around trying to attack the rider off the back of my Yudi, meaning I'm getting direct damage to me. I do have the Daedon only following my Yudi, but sometimes it's out of range to heal up all of my fighting creatures. A few of our Rexes and Reaper Thoraxes have gone down, but so is the dragon's health. It then launches itself back into the sky. I maintain the courage roar and hope that this dragon will land once again. Once it lands again, we send all of our army back over to start fighting, but that's when a lot of our creatures start dropping like flies. Oh no, this isn't good, this isn't good. With a lot of our army already gone down, we're doing significantly less damage than we were before. Even though the dragon's health is low, we're not actually doing enough damage to make much of a difference. Very few of our creatures are left and they're all dying off. 88,000 health points left and it took down our Yudi. It was only me and my shotgun and one other creature left on the map. Somehow some zombies made it in here as well. Oh my god. 62,000 health left. I've got a shotgun that's doing quite a bit of damage. Trying to make an escape and hide behind this pillar of rocks. Can we do this? There's a way I can win this. 50,000 health left. It's getting tight. Reloading is getting in our way. Our pants are broken and we're getting chased down by this dragon. No! We were so close, yet so far. Once I had finally respawned, we went to go get our stuff out of the awesome teleporter, but it was gone. We lost all of our gear. This was just putting salt on the wound. I was quite frustrated that we lost the Alpha Dragon fight, but we've got to continue on. So I went ahead and crafted up all of the same gear and then upgraded it like before. Only with this, it ate through a lot of our resources. So we had to go back out and collect it again. We may have lost against the Alpha Dragon boss. Yes. We could fight it again, but it didn't feel like grinding up all these tributes again. So instead, I set up this boss platform and came to inspect exactly what I needed to be able to summon in one of these modded bosses. It seems as though we need Element, and the best place I know to get Element right now is here on Wyvern Island. And I mean, we need a lot of these resources that you can get over here anyway, so we just keep farming for the rest of the day. Day 80, I began setting up to fight our first modded boss. Now, since we don't have any limitations on the amount of dinos I can bring, I brought a whole ass army. Problem is, because we spent so long over here, a bunch of zombies spawned in, and I was trying trying to level up a bunch of these Reaper Thoraxes at the same time, whilst also getting attacked by these zombies. I managed to deal with a whole bunch of them, but the zombie plague started to affect me. Things were starting to look like the night that I turned 18. Blurry and hazy. Thankfully, I could just quickly whip up a good old zombie plague cure, drink it, and be on my way. Day 81, I returned to our makeshift boss fighting arena. Only this time, I brought some turrets with us. They should help us fight the boss as well as deal with some of these pests that keep spawning around us. If you're wondering why we're resetting all of our dinos again, that's because the last time we set them all out, we upgraded their health and I just wanted them to heal up a bit. But now it was time to summon in our first modded boss. The Wayward Zeus Zapatitis. I think that's how you say it. I feel like I just butchered it. But basically, it's an overpowered super spiky Bronto. Even with a massive army of Reaper Thoraxes and a couple of Rexes, this boss was destroying all of them. Every single one of the creatures that we sent in to fight died quickly. This boss meant serious business. It does have 2.1 million health points, which is a clear indication that this boss fight is going to be kind of hard. Pretty much every dino that we sent in is now dead, and all of those dinos were fully upgraded and leveled and everything. I had no other choice but to return back to base and collect a bunch of dinos that were currently unleveled. For now, we're just going to have to rely on sheer numbers to be able to defeat this boss. With all of my creatures keeping this boss busy, I just stayed at a distance and shot it with my shotgun. But honestly, I don't think I was being much help. I thought once again, maybe some turrets can help us out. I mean, they've done pretty well for us in the past. I get out a whole bunch of other creatures out of my soul balls and send them into fight. 268,000 health remaining on this boss, but it keeps killing all of my creatures quickly, and it was destroying my turrets. I begin to replace and replenish the bullets in these turrets, but I'm quickly killed. We're now on the home stretch and our turrets are doing the work. I send in another wave of dinos to finish the job off, and with assisting with my shotgun, we were finally able to take out this boss. Since defeating this boss, we were now able to summon one of our own. Holy Lord. Yes, this is a very big boy. He barely fits on our base. Day 83 and I crafted up a brand new hybrid using our biofusion machine. This hybrid was called the Death Burrower. Only problem is it spawned in underground and I couldn't figure out how to get it out. Hello? Can you come out now? Get him to follow me, get far away, this will work. This did not work. Anyways, moving on, we're down in the ocean collecting some more silica pearls. We need a lot more electronics, obviously. And we're gonna need even more metal than ever, so I made another one of these ARK smelting forges. Found a Giga in the snow, so I decided to kill it just in case I decide to fight the Alpha Dragon again. Or maybe I'll use its heart for some DNA, make a hybrid Giga type thing. Day 84, we found another Giga, and once again, I used these turrets to help us take it down, except they weren't fast enough again. We saw some of the red SCPs in the distance, and I thought this would be a fun chance to be able to test out our Zeus Titan. Look at the damage we are doing. This spiky Bronto is an absolute powerhouse. These red little SCPs were deleted instantly. They didn't stand a chance. Day 85, and after that last boss fight, we're going to need even more of an army than we had before. So we have a whole bunch of Reaper Thoraxes breeding away, and a bunch of Rexes as well. And that's just these bosses. When we have to fight the major world boss at the end, just wait. That thing's going to be so much harder. I then had another idea on how to try and get the Death Burrower out of its burrow. What if I get rid of the floor underneath it? Ooh, I think I broke something that I wasn't supposed to break. Once again, this wasn't working, and I was too afraid to break even more of these, just in case I destroyed everything. Day 86, and I made this contraption, the Operation Researcher. Now, to be able to use some of this stuff, you need human DNA, which is a super creepy kind of thing that I need to make. And to make human DNA, I just need to suck some blood out of my arm. And just like a typical Green Day fan, it didn't end very well. Anyways, with the human blood that we had crafted, I turned it into purified human blood, and then into human DNA. With the human DNA, I could eventually make this Operation Sapien. Only problem is, it requires Trudon eggs, and we don't have any of that. Day 87, and we've got a pretty large army ready to hatch. I mean, look at all these Rexes. It's a thing of beauty, isn't it? Couple Reaper Thoraxes amongst the bunch as well. But moving forward, I think we're going to be pretty fine with some of these boss fights. I'm still unsure what I'm going to do about the Alpha Dragon. So whilst I've got a little bit of time, I do go down and hunt down some tributes to be able to fight it, if we do decide to do that. So I spend a large chunk of this day in the ocean hunting down Basilos for their Basilo blubber. Day 88, I go and hunt down some Rexes for their arms, Therizinosaurs for their claws, but then somehow we get this annoying blood animation again, and there's only one way I know how to get rid of it. Yeah, like that. Day 89, we collect some artifacts. And I'd also created this workbench. It's an element crafting station where you use a bunch of artifacts and a whole bunch of other items like black pearls, electronics and stuff, and then you can make element. And we need a bunch of elements so we can summon in the modded bosses. Each one of them's at least 900 element to summon one single boss. Right now, I'm just getting out all of my creatures so I can start leveling them up and preparing for another boss fight. Day 90, and we've been breeding a bunch of Datons as well. So much so that we got this Daton as well. Hey, we got a pink one. That's Pretty cool looking, if you ask me. Found a high-level Yudi in the snow as well, so I couldn't pass up an opportunity to tame this. Their courage roll really comes in clutch sometimes. Makes such a huge difference. Day 91, and I stumbled across this wyvern nest in the snow biome. Yo, is that an ice wyvern egg? I don't even know. I knew those ice wyverns. I just could never find their freaking nest. Let me land, bro. Let me land. And we finally got a half-decent leveled egg, even though it's pretty late in this playthrough. Moving on, I went to collect some Tyrannosaurus lungs. I then got out my spiky Bronto beast so I could fight and destroy this Giga and claim its heart. With a little over 9 days remaining, I should have enough time to still fight the Alpha Dragon and the rest of these modded bosses. But I will admit, I'm a little bit all over the place right now. Kind of scrambling just to get stuff done so we can complete this playthrough. One thing I do know that I can do right now is try and heal up our Zeus Titan. You know, the spiky Bronto? The thing won't heal up in my soul ball, so we have to do it the good old-fashioned way with some Daedons and my SCP-999. Day 92, and one of these SCPs was glowing a light out of its face. The thing thinks it's a torch. Anyways, we went to go get some more artifacts. We need a lot of them to summon in the modded bosses. And we need 4 of them just so we could summon in the Alpha Dragon, along with all the other tributes, of course. But for now, to give us the best chance of defeating these bosses, I'm leveling up all of my creatures, as well as hatching every egg that's ready to hatch. Day 93, we have a whole army prepared to fight a next modded boss. This scary monstrosity, the Cyber Macro Deco Draco. Man, these names are really hard to say. Even with a massive army full of strong dinos that were fully leveled up, oh lordy, this thing destroyed multiple of them instantly. Our army got it pinned up against this wall, which seemed to help. I had this turret helping us out, and it was just within range. The Cyber Macro Draco was destroying our creatures, and then it dropped its big attack and destroyed my entire army. Whoa. Whatever just happened there hurt. Our Yudi almost fell in battle. I threw out another wave of our dinos and sent them into fight. This thing was dangerous. Its health was dropping a lot quicker than the previous big boss, but it also does a lot more damage. He was eating through our dinos like they were a packet of Skittles. My Yudi had healed up a little bit, so I used it to try and get back into the fight. It got a little risky at times. I needed to get its attention to try and kite it down to another bunch of dinos we had ready down here, but my Yudi almost died. It was a close one. Keeping its aggro was kind of difficult as well. Surprisingly. My next wave of dinos, I sent them in. It didn't take long for a few red names to pop up on the screen. With its health starting to drop low, I got the big spiky Bronto out again. With the power that this boss has, it was going to help us finish this thing off. This one-on-one fight was starting to become a little sketchy. Our health was dropping quite quickly. I didn't want to lose the Zeus Super Titan, so I risked everything by dismounting and then trying to get it in a soul ball quickly. We did die, but we did manage to get it in a soul ball, so it's safe. I returned back to our makeshift boss fighting arena on day 94, this time stacked with another army of Reaper Thoraxes. Trying to get the attention of the big Cyber Macro Daco was turning out to be a little difficult with these other creatures around. Then a couple shotgun shots to the face, it locked in on me and started charging. It's coming! I wanted to try and lead it down this way a little closer to our turrets. They're actually quite helpful, but it almost killed me, so it was just time to send in the army, which died rather quickly. They're not very high level, but we are on the home stretch now. I'm just using my shotgun to try and finish this thing off. 32,000 health left. We can do this. 26,000 health left. Threw out a couple more dinos and then sent them in. And this was it. Time to win this battle. Yeah, we did it. Pretty sure about to die. Another boss down, but it's time to get straight back to work. We still have a few bosses we need to defeat and we're only 5 days remaining. We still need to collect a bunch of tributes before we can even attempt to fight the Alpha Dragon. It's now day 95 and I went AFK for a while. This wasn't for no reason. I was just waiting for all of my dinos to heal up in the soul walls. Also, to kill some time, I went and harvested fiber. It's kind of satisfying if you ask me. I don't know why. It just is. Day 96 and we're prepared. We're ready to fight the Alpha Dragon. This time I brought a lot more Reaper Thoraxes that were leveled up. Also, a few of them had mutated health and melee stats, which I'm hoping gives us more of an advantage since the last time we fought the Alpha Dragon. I had also brought some health potions for myself this time. Hopefully we don't get killed off the back by some Dimorphodons or Pteranodons. I was trying to find my Yudi to get on the back of it, but it kept running around. Oh man. It was starting to get scary. I didn't actually manage to mount it. I was on a random Reaper Thorax, which made things kind of difficult because all the Reaper Thoraxes kind of get stuck in between each other. This right here is a terrible way to start. I was stuck on the back of a T-Rex and our Yudi was trying to fight. Yes, we had already stuffed this fight up massively. My Yudi's gone already. Oh, we're screwed. Yes, the Yudi died straight off the rip, which means we don't have the advantage of having a courage roar. I managed to find my Daedon amongst the mix and got on the back of that, trying to set it up so it can heal all of my creatures. Their health was dropping rapidly, and the dragons wasn't really. Shit, everything's dying. This is just not going well. To say that this was an epic failure is an understatement. I really messed things up. I managed to get myself on the back of a Reaper Thorax and try and use that to fight. The dragon's health was dropping, so there still might be a chance, even with all of my mistakes. The health and the stamina on this Reaper Thorax wasn't looking good though, and we weren't really doing a lot of damage. The dragon still had over 300,000 health, and it was just me and 2 other Rexes remaining, which quickly turned into just me and a shotgun. I hid behind this castle wall trying to do damage to the dragon whilst it was flying around in the sky, but ultimately our attempt at defeating the alpha dragon was futile. To think I'd have a chance with just me, some ascendant gear, and an ascendant shotgun, these Pteranodons were such a pest, it just wasn't working. And just like you would probably expect, we fell in battle. That right there pretty much destroyed our chance at fighting the last modded boss, because you need the Alpha Dragon trophy along with all the other Alpha boss trophies to be able to summon him in. But there is one other boss that we can fight, and it's a world boss. We just gotta hope he does appear before day 100. It's now day 96, and I actually found out that there was another boss that I could summon in, but this is a part of a different mod. I still had a bunch of Reaper Thoraxes that we've been breeding up, so I threw them all out, even though they were quite a low level. This particular boss was called the Allfather. This grotesque looking creature. I guess this is kind of what happens when you mix and match mods. They're kind of not all the same. This thing has a lot less health than any other boss we fought, so we managed to defeat this boss rather quickly, but there's a catch. The thing is, the Allfather summons in tons of other little creatures, and those little creatures start stacking their damage up against my army, which means my screen goes red. We managed to defeat the Allfather and unlock some tech engrams, but man, our creatures were getting wrecked. Everything was dying. We died. Our Yudi died. It was chaos. I returned mounted on one of my Rexes and saw some crazy numbers in the distance. We still had an army of creatures that were down there taking out some stuff, I guess. Originally, I thought we were over-prepared, but now I'm unsure if we were. Our turrets were down there as well helping out, but this is just crazy. It was 2 massive armies against each other. The screen turning yellow was a good sign. We were taking out a lot of them. Then it started turning red. Holy, that Twilight kick is crunching, kids. Oh, I'm getting munched on. This was a crazy war. I wish we could see better. What the hell is even happening? Can I get away? Get up here so I can whistle. Oh, no. Get in there. Get in there, boys. Help me. This is chaos. We were managing to clean up all of these little minions, but there was one Twilight Giga that was destroying most of us. Final little creature to defeat was the Carrier Hive. Managed to take it down, and I think we were victorious. I don't know. Maybe we did lose. It was kind of chaotic. Of course, after all of that, some zombies wanted to join in on the party. Stupid pests. Day 98, I collected all of the goods from the bags. We got a bunch of random stuff. I returned back to base and then summoned in all of these little deviant creatures. They are really scary. We now got our hands on our very own army of Riddens. My little army. Obviously, I don't trust them, so of course, I caged them up. Also, since we defeated that boss, we got its head as a trophy. Boy, you is ugly. Where's your nose, you freaking Voldemort-looking motherfucker? Managed to get this trophy head as well. Ew. Ugly. And before this day was over, we spotted the big world boss, the one that we need to defeat before day 100, the Scarlet King. This boss has 5 million health, and I know it's going to be a tough fight, so I began preparing an army of our creatures before fighting it. Problem is, I think I set my army up in a really bad spot. The Scarlet King was up high, so I couldn't actually get my army up here easily, and it moved around a lot. So I threw out another little army of Rexes and Reaper Thoraxes and just sent them in under his feet. They died instantly. It's now day 99, and I'm starting to realize that this fight's going to be a lot harder than I had expected. But just so you guys know, I do have over 300 dinos ready to fight. Over the last 20 days or so, we've been breeding like crazy. And all I'm doing now is throwing out 5 or 6 dinos at a time and sending them into their deaths. Slowly but surely chipping away at this boss's health. I'm sure there's a better strategy, but this is all I've got right now. And sometimes if we get a little bit too close and I can't predict his attacks, this happens. Yeah, he just pushed me really, really far away, which may have saved my life, but it didn't end so well for my Rexes. Next, I wanted to implement one of my favorite strategies by getting out one of these heavy turrets to help us out. Now, it was doing a bit of damage, but we ended up getting whipped by the Scarlet King's tail. The turret's batteries that we've been using, well, they've all ran dry. So I teleported to the charge node down in the aberration zone and chucked them in there to try and charge up a bit. Once we returned back to the Scarlet King, it had moved again, meaning I had to rearrange all of my army again to try and fight it. Psych, I died before I could do that. This became kind of difficult. I would die multiple times. I needed to try and get close enough to bring my army out to try and fight this thing and try and fill up my turrets with bullets and batteries at the same time. Then the Scarlet King would move further away, meaning my turrets were now out of range and kind of useless. I'd try and get close again to put down these turrets to try and shoot, but sometimes I was out of range and sometimes I'll die. I'd repeat this step over and over and over again, just trying to chip away at the Scarlet King's health. Occasionally Occasionally, I'd have to return to the charge node to try and get some new batteries and get back into this fight whilst all of my army of dinos would die and this thing would move around the map like a freaking speedster. And on the odd occasion, would get slapped like this. I had learned by now to engage my parachute if this ever happens. Then I'd have to return back to base just so I could repair my armor. This fight was extremely tough. It lasted way longer than I had expected. And I'm not very smart, so I was just trying to repeat my strategy of just putting out turrets and trying not to get punched in the face by this big behemoth. Like I said earlier, we had enough dinos that it felt unlimited. I didn't bother about leveling them up or anything. I just sent them in pretty much straight to their death. We did often have to make some pit stops back at base though. This particular time, I had to cure my zombie plague illness again. Then a quick stop off at the charge node to pick up some batteries and straight back in the fight against the Scarlet King. This time we managed to get some turrets right underneath its feet, and alongside a few of my dinos, they were doing some significant damage. Well, that is until they weren't. Once again, this fight continued on. It was a grind, and it was taking such a long time. We're on the home stretch now. 1.2 million health remaining. It was time to empty all of my soul terminal and bring out everything that I had. Not just Rexes and Reaper Thoraxes, I was throwing out anything and everything that I had. This is the last day of this challenge, and we need to defeat this thing as quick as possible. Some turrets right at its feet seemed to be an effective strategy. 500,000 health remaining. The last little bit of our dinos were dying off. I was often dying or getting pushed away, but I was being persistent and really aggressive. It was time to finish this fight. The Scarlet King was running all over the place. We found ourselves close to the beach area. Home stretch, baby. 50,000. If he wasn't in such an awkward position, we could finish this already. 38,000. 34. Come on. Last one. Yeah! Oh my lord. We had defeated the Scarlet King. This 100 days is over. Remember, if you did like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, help a brother out. I'm also focusing on posting stuff on my other channel now. So if you want to see some more different content, go and follow me on that page. Also, I want to give a massive shout out to all my Patreons, Twitch subscribers, and YouTube members. Thank you so much for all of your support. Until next time, guys, thank you very much. Peace.